Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans by wrestling fans on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is the week in review. Going to be a bit of a different week in review this week. I did not get to watch formally NXT or SmackDown. It's been a crazy week over here. I'm currently babysitting the fur babies as my sister and brother-in-law are at a festival. They'll thankfully be coming home tomorrow. But from what I did see, I enjoyed Raw this week, and I caught a little bit of, I shouldn't say I caught a little bit of Saturday Night's Main Event. Before we went live, Ashton indulged me. He allowed me to watch clips that interested me. And I really have to give props. We can even talk about this first because it's both a negative, but it has some positive in it. R-Truth is fucking fantastic, man. I enjoyed his promo because I did watch that from SmackDown. I had a big interest in that. Um, and, I think he's done a great job in this whole thing. And yeah, he just really put his back into it. And I love the entrance at Saturday Night's Main Event. I loved how he modified the t-shirt to call himself Ron Cena. I even said to you before we went live, and I don't blame Lillian for this because, I think she would have done it if she would have gotten a note to do it. But I would have loved if she would have announced him as Ron Cena. Um, and I thought the match again from the clips I saw was fun, and I love the finish of Cena looking like he's gonna do the belt shot, then feigning remorse and like, wait a minute, what have I become? Maybe Truth's right. Maybe I've strayed too far from the light. Maybe I still can be that John Cena. He gives the belt back to the ref. Truth is elated. Cena shakes his hand only to kick him in the nuts, hit an FU on him, and get the win. And so yeah, I just wanted to give big props to Truth, man. Given that Cena has limited dates, he low key had to carry this thing, and it was a mini program, literally for Saturday Night's Main Event show. What did you think about this?
Yeah, I mean, I'll just tell everyone else here exactly what I told you when you first asked me what I thought of Saturday night's main event. I had very, very low expectations for this show, and it did exceed them. So I didn't hate it. I thought it was decent. It was a good time for the most part. It the I think really the worst part about Saturday night's main event is the ads, the commercials, because it's like they kind of treat it like it should be a PLE, but then you get commercials in the middle of matches, and it makes it feel very much like just another TV show. But the best part of the show to me was the fact that none of the matches really overstayed their welcome. Even like the Drew Priest steel cage match, the worst part about that match was actually Jesse Ventura on commentary, and even he had some bright spots as well. He had some one-liners that popped me, kind of like Corey Graves on commentary, where it's like I don't like you for the most part, but every now and then you pop me, kind of thing. That's pretty
Yeah,
much what Ventura was on commentary. He really needs to learn when to shut the fuck up because he was literally talking through Lillian Garcia's almost her entire announcement of the match.
wow,
Uh,
that's disrespectful.
and it got to the point that even Michael Cole started talking during the announcements as well. I think just to kind of quell, I guess, the rambunctiousness of Ventura.
I
And then when Priest won by leaving through the door, Ventura got like all up in arms and tried to make it out like Priest was a heel for doing that, like he was a coward for not even climbing the steel cage. It's like he just doesn't realize that being able to leave through the door is a thing that's been real for like 20 and then some years.
I
So, but my main point coming back to it is just that none of the matches really overstayed their welcome. That's always been the best part of the Saturday night main event shows since they started running them last year again, is because it is televised and because they do want to try and fit everything within that nice tight little 2 hour time span. Nothing ever gets to go like too long. There's none of these like obnoxious kick out of every finisher type PLE matches that we get on almost every PLE nowadays. So I appreciated that for sure. I definitely think my favorite match was Cena versus Truth, though. Even I will say the opener, which was Seth and Braun versus Sammy and Punk, was also excellent. And the more like fans that people that are more into like work rate than character work, I think, and maybe even I know that you're not one of those people, but I think even you, because of how much you just fucking love Braun and Seth,
Yes.
might even enjoy that match more than Cena Truth. But for me, Cena Truth was where it's at.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can even tell from the clip that I watched, those two, they knew what the assignment was,
Yeah,
and they nailed it perfectly. And again, Cena is just a consummate pro, but I think Truth kind of reminded people that he does get slept on a bit, just because when you do comedy as well as he does for so long,
yeah,
I think the downside of that is you get pigeonholed a bit.
yeah.
And I think yeah, he did great. We do have to talk about the ass side of all this. Fuck, and believe me, there's quite a bit of ass that happened this week. And other
Oh,
people would disagree,
we're
but
moving to
it's
SmackDown, aren't we?
yeah, we are. As my favorite pay-per-view just continues to taunt me and be like, you love me, but I don't love you. Which you'd think I'd be used to it, but when it comes to this pay-per-view, I'm like, oof, that hurts. But before we get to that, that's still a little ways off. I do want to just keep talking about Saturday night's main event. We know at Money in the Bank, actually, another match we're getting. John Cena is going to be teaming with Logan Paul. Oh,
Yeah, so you because you didn't watch the show, you didn't get to see the backstage segment where in between the Cena Truth match and the main event, Jay and Logan, Cena actually confronted Jey Uso in the back and said, "Man, it sure would be a shame if I, with this title, retired and took it away from the business forever. And at that same time, the title that you're holding right now was being held by a YouTuber." And then later on, when that match was happening, Cena came out to try and help Logan Paul to win it to try and ruin wrestling even harder.
yeah.
And that's when Cody showed up.
You know,
Nothing really ruins wrestling for me more than Cody Rhodes.
dude, the Rhodes family. I mean, look, I've got plenty of hatred to go around tonight, so I am going to expend quite a bit here, and don't worry, I'll still have plenty of gas left in the tank.
Nice.
The Rhodes family, when I tell you about a marky bunch of fucking shitters that really feel like they're fucking great and that they eat, whether on the mic or in the ring. And I could not be more apathetic or disinterested in what you're doing. And I guess even that's false because at times you do rouse my anger when I watch your mediocrity unfold in the fucking ring. They are insufferable. I honestly think, because look, I mean, Natalia has more or less become a backstage role. They use her very seldomly in the ring. I feel like the Rhodes family have supplanted the Hart family as most insufferable. Because and to be honest too, I've actually kind of vibed with older Brett's takes like on the business everything. So he's aged well. But these people that are like, I'm gonna wrestle with a torn pec to show that I belong in the main event, and other people that are like, I'm gonna cut a promo about how I've clawed out of hell and you don't know adversity like I know it. That's why I'm the real last veteran of this business. Like I am begging the Rhodes family, like difficulty level impossible, I know, but get the fuck over yourself because you're trying so desperately to get over with everyone else. But maybe get over yourself first, and it would go a long way to that. I abhor this goddamn family. They are the worst thing on wrestling programming across. Well, I shouldn't say the worst because AEW has a lot of hot contenders for me. But I mean, Dustin's promo and you're teaming, like, sit the hell down. You're teaming with Sammy Guevara. And then your brother Cody, who he shows up all fired up. Bro, you were the one that walked out after Mania. You were the one that looked like when he was leaving and the interviewer, I forget her name, wanted to get a comment from you. You were like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just can't talk right now." And I thought,
Was
"Oh
it
my
Jackie
god."
Redmond?
It was Jackie Redmond. Yes, Jackie, a real journalist. Uh, you know, Freaky was trying to get the real questions from you. And you're just like, "Oh no, I can't talk right now." And then I'm thinking, "Oh man, here we go. Yet another bait and switch," because we did this a lot in the John Cena years, where it's like, has he reached a low ebb? Is he actually going to have depth? And then no, apparently tonight you return fired up. You still do that shitty Rhodes offense where you drop down and you hit a strike in the face. Bro, one of my favorite matches is Goldust versus Sheamus because Sheamus actually saw that coming and he kneed Goldust right in the fucking face. I
Nice.
love that he didn't stand for that shit. I'm like, fuck that offense. And then you hit a crossroads, and then you're talking all gruff. You're fired up promo. I'll see you at Money in the Bank. Well, that's a fucking skip for me, Chief. Logan Paul and Cody Rhodes in the same fucking match. We can Rocket League during that shit.
Hell
Jesus
yeah!
Christ. Like, I am so glad I have a bidet because I need the force of a proper jet stream to wash all this shit that's coming out of my fucking ass from them that they make me feel. They give me queasy stomach and it ends in the fucking bathroom. God, I hate the Rhodeses so much. So yeah, that happened, and I'm pretty sure um, you could pencil in Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam.
Yeah,
Maybe the
but
men's
there
money.
is that Saudi pay-per-view in between there. There's a Saudi pay-per-view happening in late June. I want to say June 28th or 29th.
Okay,
So I think it's the 28th because the June 7th, I believe, is Money in the Bank. So I'm pretty sure it's 28th, and I don't remember the name of it, but there is a Saudi. Or it's Night of Champions happening on June 28th. So that's going to be before SummerSlam. And then,
this
do
business
we
is
know when SummerSlam is this year? Do we have like an idea for that?
it's assumed late August, but I don't have a definitive date.
See, it's been in early August lately. Yeah, it's in
You know
early
what? You're
August again this year. It's Saturday and Sunday, August 2nd and 3rd. It's a 2-day SummerSlam this year.
That's right. That's right,
So I'm
bro.
assuming there won't be any PLEs then in July. Maybe they'll squeeze a Saturday night's main event in there just to have something. But then
Yeah,
we're going to go from a Saudi show at the end of June to SummerSlam at the very beginning of August.
right. Yeah, bro.
Oh,
I
you
gotta
know
tell
what?
you.
There might be an Evolution. Evolution 2 might be in July. We've heard rumors of that.
Yeah, we were hearing rumors of that. That is true. Bro, I gotta tell you, I I really feel like this business is gonna make me fucking crash out because I'll tell you, like, I'm fearing right now that what was I going to say? That LA Knight is gonna win Money in the Bank because I know that he qualified. And John Cena, I know he's trying to ruin wrestling, but I need him to keep that promise to me. Because if ruining wrestling means beating Cody Rhodes again and making LA Knight, if he wins, because right now he's my prospective favorite, and believe me, when I tell you I am dying inside admitting that. But if LA Knight wins and if Cena makes him fail his cash in, I will start a religion around John Cena. I will do it. And you know me. You know how unhinged and how into things I get when I commit. I will be the most devoted disciple any religion has ever seen anywhere if this man does that for me. Because fuck Cody Rhodes, fuck LA Knight, fuck this mediocrity that is coagulating around the WWE Undisputed Championship. They don't deserve it. They can fuck off. So I'm rooting for Cena to overcome the odds one last time. And we'll
Yeah.
have to see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. That's God, I hope you're right.
Oh, I'm probably not, but you know what, man? You rooting for me? I want you to know that you're beautiful. A, B, I love your face, and C, I think if we combine our forces, maybe we can do this. So those are really all the notes I have. I guess I'll let you carry away Saturday Night's Main Event. I mean, you already said a lot. I'm guessing you don't really have much else to say. So do you want to move on to one of the main shows then?
I was just looking through the WWE schedule, and I was right about them having another Saturday night's main event planned for July 12th. There's going to be another Saturday night's main event, and I think that's exactly 2 weeks after the Saudi show, which is Night of Champions. So we're going to do Night of Champions, and then 2 weeks later, actually, I'll go back even further. We're going to do Money in the Bank, and then 3 weeks later, we're doing Saturday night's main event, and then or did I say that right? No. We're going to do Money in the Bank, and then 3 weeks later, we're going to do Night of Champions, and then 2 weeks after that, we're doing Saturday Night's Main Event. And apparently, they're going to try and squeeze an Evolution in between July 12th and August 2nd, too.
All right. Well, it's a lot of content coming down the pipe. I will say I'm really looking forward to Evolution 2. So,
There are a
you know,
lot of rumors about that, but the WWE, I don't think, has actually made anything official yet, so that might not even actually fucking happen.
this is why your face needs to be in charge of everything because your face has never let me down. Fuck. Okay. Trying to stabilize the fucking commentary and get something upbeat going. Now do you want to talk about the main shows? Or we can
Sure,
talk.
let's talk about the main, yeah, the TV shows instead of the.
So I already talked about Aztec qualifying. We don't need to talk about that. I'm hoping the splinters stop him on his ascent. Should have been Aleister Black. Congratulations, WWE. You fucking failed.
Can we
Um,
also just address that Aleister Black has been back for exactly 1 month and is already directionless?
Yeah, when like look at his look at his theme song, look at his fucking offense.
His aura, hello, his aura.
Yes. His aura, yes. Like his everything. And you give him diddly fucking squat. On the positive side, because when LA Knight wins, it's not a good day, really for anybody. I mean, obviously Super Blue's the exception, but that goes without saying. Julia qualified for women's,
Yes,
and
she
I
was
think
also in a match with the U.S. Women's Champion and Charlotte Flair.
yes, yes. I just want to take a beat here for a second. Um, and I just want to say like I know it's Julia and I know we had like big expectations of her in WWE, like we thought that she would really thrive in America, especially with the WWE system, but even I'm surprised like she didn't even bother to get the NXT Women's Championship back. Like I know she did that 4-way, but we never got a proper Vaquer Julia rematch. That like
No, we
never
did not.
happened. Um
Yep.
yeah, like I'm just fast tracking NXT. I feel like she was in NXT for like a hiccup. Like she wasn't even in NXT for a year, was she? Was she even in
No,
NXT for 6 months?
she
Right.
might have been. Yeah.
Okay, at least 6 months,
Let
right?
me see if I can get you an exact answer on when she first debuted in WWE. Um,
Yeah.
her proper debut was October 1st.
Okay, so yeah, that would be over 6 months, but really not by
So,
much.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say because I mean it depends on how you count it because she was in the Royal Rumble, right?
Yeah.
And she's been making appearances on the main roster for a little bit now. And 6 months after October 1st would have been April 1st, which is before Mania, and Julia didn't start showing up until after Mania. So yeah, just barely over 6 months, but not seven. 6.5 months basically is what it comes down to.
I mean, let me ask you, bro. There are two magnificent faces here. Are you as surprised as I am about this, or were you like, it's Julia. They clearly see a lot in her, and it's to be
I
expected.
was
Like, where do you?
I was definitely expecting her to win this qualifier. Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, just in general, like how quickly she's already on a main roster
No,
brand,
now
already in
that
like
I
a
am
big.
surprised by. Yes, I am surprised by how much of a fast track they put her on. Just because I really expected them to really want to wait for her to get really good at English first. But I guess like if you compare her English to like Io and especially Asuka, she's doing pretty fucking well actually. I think she's at least as good at English as far as, or at least as good at English as Io, if not maybe even a little better. And she's definitely clearing Asuka, which God I miss Asuka. Fuck. She might even
Yeah,
be better at English than Kylie at this point. I haven't heard Kylie speak English in a while.
that is true.
And of course,
I
she
don't know,
returned this week only to fucking lose a qualifying match.
bro. Let's talk. Since you mentioned it, let's just talk about that real quick because I know this is going to be a different kind of weekend review again because I've just been dealing with a lot over here. I was very disheartened by that. Look, I love Rhea to death, and I will constantly take up the hill on her behalf that she is one of the best, really, wrestlers in the world, I think, in general, but certainly best women's wrestlers in the world right now. Just with her aura, her move set just feels so complete. Everything else, she did not need this. She
Not only
absolutely.
did she not need to qualify and get into the match, I think she's going to win the damn thing. I think Rhea Ripley is winning Money in the Bank and cashing in on Io, and that'll be the first time Rhea ever beats Io.
You know what though? Here's the thing. I'm still holding out hope for Naomi, and you know that. If you're gonna have Rhea be the one to cash in and do this, it's gotta be a heelish type cash in. It's gotta be where Io is weak, Rhea comes in, hits a riptide, because I love the idea. And WWE, I want to trust that they pick up on it and they understand it and they, have got it. Where when Io is 100%, you know, fucking Rhea cannot beat her. And so I want them to really play with that idea. And I've said that on the show a lot. We'll see if they do. That's not guaranteed. But yeah, I mean, I really don't blame you where your head's at, man. Again, I'm still hoping Naomi pulls it out. But if Rhea wins at this point, would it surprise me? No. And it's kind of a shame, too, with Kyrie because she's still very solid in ring. And like I do think there is a story to tell between Io and Kyrie, or at least there used to be. I don't even really know if there is now because it's not like they really let Kyrie talk. It's not that they really have her and Io interact, just the two of them. So maybe even the time for a story to be told between them, even with all their history, has come and gone. I don't know. But yeah, I was just very disappointed to hear this. And I mean, while we're on the subject of that triple threat, I mean, Zoe Stark's injury, Jesus Christ, she's going to be out
Yeah, I wouldn't
maybe even a
expect.
year and a half.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't expect to see her much earlier than summer 2026.
Yeah, yeah. Um, that was just nasty. I mean, I wish her well. I mean, I could hear her screams when it happened. There's some pain that you just can't fight through,
Yeah.
and yeah, like she was just done. I mean, believe me, I can't. Kudos to her. Hope the rehab goes well. But yeah, that was wild. Um, let's see. While we're on the subject of Raw, I am still enjoying the Seth Braun faction. And speaking of, I mean, we know Bronson Reed is back with them now, so that's interesting because Bronson Reed had just recently feuded with Seth.
Yeah, they
So like,
feuded like all of last summer, and then Reed kind of transitioned into a feud with Braun Strowman, and then we got the fucking monster versus monster or last monster standing match or whatever the fuck. Am I remembering this wrong? Was this 2024 or was this 2023?
I believe this was 2024.
Yeah, because isn't that last monster standing match? Isn't that the match that both of them got fucking injured in?
Yeah, yeah, I believe. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, that happened earlier in the fall, and then by the time Reed was able to come back, he was in fucking War Games and injured himself even worse there.
Yes,
So I don't think we've seen him since November because I'm pretty sure that War Games was his last appearance. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think you're wrong, bro. I think you're absolutely right. That's crazy.
Yeah, Reed. I want to look on his cage match to make sure. Yeah, War Games was his last match. He had his last monster standing match with Strowman was at the very end of September. He didn't wrestle at all in October. Then he had the match with Rollins at Crown Jewel, which was November 2nd. He had another match with Rollins on Raw 9 days later. And then his next match was War Games, and he got injured in that match, and we haven't seen him since. And that was 11/30. So we are closing in on 6 months that he's been out.
Damn.
And again, though, we've also got to remember, like, even though it was War Games and it was like very bloodline fueled, Seth refused to participate in that match, but he could have been on the other side of that ring.
Yeah, he could have. Yeah.
But Punk was. So Braun and Sammy was too. So Bronson is like resuming his feud with Punk and Sammy through Seth's faction.
Yeah, that's fucking wild to me. I'm curious what Seth's rationale is going to be for having Bronson in the group. I mean, obviously you want a heavy hitter, you want a
Yeah.
guy with size and stuff like that, but I'm just talking like because it makes me think of when like Punk recruited Luke Gallows and talked about like how he healed him because he used to be Festus before Straight Edge Society. I'm wondering if Seth is going to talk about like I went to war with Bronson Reed. I know how good he is. You know who didn't know how good he was? Adam Pierce or something like that, and be like, if the future of the industry runs through me, I'm hitching my wagon to Bronson Reed because he is the future or something like that. I'm trying to picture the Seth promo. Foster says that Braun Breaker seemed confused. Did Braun have any kind of reaction notable to you when Bronson Reed
Yeah.
arrived? That he seemed surprised or whatever?
Yeah. So, yeah, after the match was over, Reed got into the ring and kind of stared Braun down. And then Seth got in between them and hugged Reed and made it very clear that he was an ally and then had Braun and Reed shake hands. And Braun looked confused, but he went with it.
Okay. Okay. Interesting. I mean, that ultimately I do think Braun Breaker is going to turn face from this whole thing. So it wouldn't really surprise me. If like maybe he turns on Bronson Reed first down the road. We'll see if this faction can hold because Seth clearly has a vision to make himself all powerful while dressing it up in the guise of no, I'm protecting the future. It just happens to wear my face.
Seth
Um,
should definitely push for Braun and Bronson to go after the tag titles together.
yeah, I would not mind that at all.
It wouldn't really work super well right now because the champions are heel New Day,
Yeah,
but they are kind of like, I don't know, tweenery enough that they could just run a rampage through New Day, get cheered for that, and then be heels from that point on.
Yeah, yeah. Hmm. I'm liking how it's coming together because you and I talking about this and you kind of mentioning all these different variables because yeah, New Day being tag champs as heels is kind of a problem and also just kind of weird, but
I
it's
think I
whatever.
kind of look at it as like if we want to use like the evolution formula, Heyman is the
Yeah.
Flair, Seth is the Triple H, Braun is the Orton, and now they have their Batista.
Okay.
You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean?
I could see what you're saying. I could see what you're saying.
Yeah, like they have the mentor, they have like the main event world champion type star, they have the young stud who's working his way up, and now they have the enforcer, right?
Yes.
It just
Yes.
so happens that the young stud can double as another enforcer.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, because Braun's such a fucking beast.
He is. What a Chad. What a brawn. And I guess also now we know, by the way, because of Saturday night's main event, let me see, let me get my dates right. It would be June 9th. June 9th. Jey Uso's gonna face Gunther for the world title on Raw. So that
Yes, yeah.
that
Now that
Raw
Jay
network's gonna be
retained, we're officially doing that. Yep.
yeah, should be a fun match. I mean, I for some reason I feel like their Raw match is going to be better than their Mania match to me. I don't know. I like that they're
Maybe.
giving it time to breathe. I like that Gunther kind of sees it as like, you know, disgracing Jey Uso and taking the title from it. Like that's for me, right? That's not for you. And even told Logan Paul, like if you take it from me, I'm going to take that personally. Um, so yeah, that should be a fun match. Let me look at the rest of the Raw card. Because yeah, I only thought about that because they do open with Gunther like interrupting Logan Paul. We don't need to talk about though because Saturday Night's main event happened. Uh, Balor and McDonough beat Penta and Styles because El Grande Americano. Roxanne qualified for Money in the Bank, which I loved. That was great. I don't care about Grayson Waller and Austin Theory. That has taken way too fucking long to move the needle. We talked about Rhea Kyrie. We just talked about Jay Braun, and I think yeah, that's it. So that was Raw. NXT this week, which I did not watch, but we know Battleground is this Sunday. I know we said that we were going to do preview predictions on this show. What did you think of NXT this week, man?
I honestly don't remember it that well. I'm gonna pull up a results page just because I'm having a hazy memory about NXT. And you didn't even watch it, so I'm kind of have to kind of carry it here. Let's see.
A little bit of like what happened from YouTube. Like I know
Oh,
Sean Legacy is going to be
dude,
challenging Ricky
that
Saints at Battleground.
match was astounding. You are missing out if you don't find a way to watch that match. The triple threat between Legacy, Javon, and Shante, it was fucking great.
Oh wow, I'm not surprised because the three performers fucking cook.
And
Or
that
they are
match
really
fucking
good
cooked.
individually.
The thing is, Legacy, it feels like Legacy, it was like a breakout performance for Legacy, so I like instinctively want to say he was the star of the match, but he really wasn't. Javon was. Javon was absolutely the star of that match. Legacy, I think, just exceeded expectations more than anyone because our expectations were already through the roof for Javon because it's fucking Javon. We already know he's amazing, and he's still over delivered regardless of our expectations already being in the sky. But Legacy, like we already know we like him, but he was astounding in this match as well. He was fantastic, and Ashanti held up as well. Ashanti, I don't want to make it seem like Ashanti was like a third wheeler or that like the match would have been better without him by any means because he definitely added to the match. He was awesome in this. I love that he is like the one dude. He low key. This might be a hot take. I think that Ashanti the Adonis is a better version, and I want to really emphasize that I'm saying a better version because this might come off as a hot take. I think he's a better version of Carmelo Hayes. I think anything Carmelo Hayes can do, Ashanti can do it better.
Yeah, you know what? I really like Ashanti, man. I don't know if I'm willing to co-sign onto that, but I'm not gonna like dismiss it either because I think Ashanti has a lot of upside.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like I think Ashanti, I think the biggest thing holding Ashanti back at this point is literally just experience. It's seasoning. It is just the knowledge that you get when you just do this for a long time and when you do it a lot because he is fucking fantastic. He has all the potential in the world athletically, physically, like there's nothing holding him back but just getting more reps, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I agree with you, man. Again, I think he has a lot of upside. I hated the storyline he had with Petrovic. Like I kind of hated is too strong a word. I did like it in parts, but like I didn't like that it didn't have a bigger payoff. It just seemed like it kind of existed to give them something to do, and then like when it kind of ran into a wall, they didn't bother to overcome the wall. They just dropped it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
so I
I
just
didn't
want to
like
see
that
Ashanti do
story to
better
begin
stuff.
with personally.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I didn't like the Carmen Petrovic story to begin with personally. I thought
I
that I thought just again this is a me problem. This is me having expectations that weren't met and setting myself up for failure basically. I thought that it would have been cool if Ashanti would have kept getting rejected and looked inward and realized that something was wrong with him and made a change to his character from it. And we could have gotten character progression there. I didn't think that he would actually just be an asshole, get a woman regardless, and have it end 6 months later with no character growth having happened to any of them.
Exactly. That's my problem is that nobody changed, nobody grew,
God,
nothing really
what the
meaningful happened here.
what is this, an AEW story? Fuck.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And Sean Legacy's a weird one because I really like him in the ring. Like, if we're talking from an in-ring standpoint, him and Ricky Saints should have should have a banger matchup.
Yes.
But goddamn, can the man not talk? Like,
No. Well, that's the great thing though is that we've literally got Battleground tomorrow, so we didn't need that. We didn't need Sean Legacy to talk on NXT TV, and he hasn't. We've seen him talk on Evolve, but that's like, yeah, sure, fail on Evolve so that you can get better and not fail on a platform where you have more eyes on you. He hasn't spoken, I don't think, on NXT, or if he has, I don't remember it. So it wasn't like crash and burn terrible like it was on Evolve. And the match is fucking tomorrow. So like we're not doing promos to build up to it. We're just the match spoke for itself, and I love that.
yeah. Yeah, I mean that is where Sean Legacy right now, and he is on the younger side because isn't he only early 20s,
I
or is
don't
he
think
like
he's
mid?
that young. I don't think he's as young as you think.
Is he mid 20? I don't think he's late 20s. At most, he's mid
He
20s,
will
right?
be 30 this year. He's 29.
Okay, I apologize, everyone. I was wrong. But no, his asset is definitely being, a motor in the ring. He's really
Mm-hmm.
fun to watch in the ring. But yeah, that talking, like he
Yes.
needs to find a different voice because the one he's got fucking sucks.
Okay.
That's just,
Wow. That was
I,
really savage. Holy shit.
but I mean, I'm right. So
Ugh. Ay, ay, ay.
I am just gonna double down, very quietly and awkwardly. Um, we get more Jordan Grace and Stephanie Vaquer
Yes.
build up. Yeah, I mean, I think it should be a fun match. I'm still so weird after that whole Julia Jordan matchup. I want to really like Jordan Grace and embrace that she's here, but I'm hoping that these two don't go like so hard to try and do some AJPW type shit or whatever. Like you can have a good match without
I
killing
think
each other at
Jordan
them.
already got that out of the way with Julia, and she might like do some crazy flippy shit to try and match Stephanie's lucha libre, honestly. And I'm a little worried about that now too.
Yeah. Oh God. Oh dear God.
It's like I think she tried to out strong style Julia, and now I'm worried she's gonna try and out lucha libre Stephanie.
Yeah. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Um. Yeah, I think it'll be a good match. I just have my fears. But we'll have to see how that goes. So they did a bit more build up, kind of promo stuff. They still like have Lola Vice associating with her. I have to wonder if we have to worry about Lola like turning on Stephanie because they're kind of painting Lola as an ally. Um,
Low key, you're probably right. I guess I didn't read that deep into it, but I see like where your kind of caution is coming from. I just saw it as like, oh look, it's Lola who has said several times, like, outwardly stated how proud she is to be a Latina, and Steph, pretty much the only other Latina in NXT.
yeah. So we'll have to see where that goes. I like Lola, but I feel like. So I don't hate her, but I feel like where NXT wants to push her is above what she's capable of realizing talent-wise. Because I think in ring she's okay. On the mic, I think her big test was the program with Roxanne, and I really wasn't moved personally. So I really, when I look at Lola Vice, I see maybe a multi-time NXT Women's North American Champion. I don't really see a world title.
I mean, I, God, how do I even respond to that?
Was I too harsh?
No, here's the thing. I don't think that she's good enough on the mic to justify any more than what you're saying. But I find it odd that you say multi-time because how many people have won the North American Championship of either gender more than once?
True, and they may want to call her up. So maybe let me put it more broadly and generally. I just see her as being a mid-card women's champion.
And that's
Maybe
what
on
I was like thinking about that too, and I was like, God, do we really think that there's ever going to be a day that Lola Vice wins the intercontinental or U.S. title on the main roster? And that's just like fuck, like I just can't imagine that because she's so bad on the mic. I mean, she's good enough in the ring, and she obviously has a very marketable look, but her mic skills are so bad.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you, like that's kind of I'm not saying it's like an epidemic. I don't want to be hyperbolic or alarmist or anything, but it's just funny that we mentioned both Sean Legacy and Lola Vice, people that are anywhere from like really good to at the very least decent in the ring, but God, they can't talk, and you need your talkers to me,
See, this
because
is why Jada Parker stands out so fucking much because
yes,
she's got however the fuck long she needs to become amazing in the ring. She's good enough in the ring right now, but her mic work will literally always carry her. Like if you made me like if you held a gun to my head and you made me choose if I'm gonna like create a wrestler who I'm gonna play a wrestling video game with, I would rather have somebody who is a 10 out of 10 promo, 5 out of 10 in the ring than a 5 out of 10 promo, 10 out of 10 in the ring every single day of the week because the promos are going to get butts in seats and the ring is something that like you can get carried to a good match by someone that can't talk and you're going to get better in the ring as you go. And we've seen people not get better at talking for decades. Natalia is still around and she still can't cut a promo to save her life. At least under the WWE umbrella, I saw she cut a decent promo on the internet that one like within the last couple of weeks, just talking
yeah,
about. I think it might have been like a blood sport thing. I don't even know, but like being good at talking is not something that necessarily is going to improve by a significant amount with experience. In ring, absolutely will. In ring, I think like experience is the number one thing that gets people good at in ring. Like
yes,
if somebody starts their career at being pretty good in the ring, odds are they're going to be like an all-time great within a decade or so. If somebody starts their career at shitty in the ring, yeah, so does fucking everybody. That's called starting your career. You'll probably get pretty good eventually, within a decade probably. And that's why we come back to like the Jada Parkers of the world because she is already decent in the ring. She's not bad in the she's not like a liability by any means. I would way rather watch a Jada Parker match than like a fucking Nikita Lyons match for fuck's sakes. But the difference is you don't need me to want to watch the match based on the in ring alone because she can talk me into wanting to watch the match.
yes.
Not so much with Lola Vice or Sean Legacy.
No, no, that need a lot of work on that side. A lot of work. So yeah, the women's landscape is interesting. Also on NXT, speaking of the women, they keep pushing this idea, the tension between Fallon and JC. Really, it would be so interesting to see JC go babyface. And I only say that because I think she is the better in-ring worker between her and Fallon.
She's the
I
better
think,
talker too.
yeah, I agree that she's a better talker too. So she's just the better all-around performer. And so we've
See
already
now,
had,
JC, I could see her being a United States or Intercontinental Champion on the main roster.
yes, yes,
Fallon Henley, not so much. Lola Vice, less so, you know. But JC Jane, absolutely, because she is good at character work. She can talk, and she's good in the ring. Like she checks all the boxes, and she has a look that makes her a very good natural heel. Because like a lot of people will just see her, and she's really good at like the scowl and like the stuff that makes it like heelish. She's really good at that shit, and she can be a really good, strong upper mid card heel. Maybe even as like a Money in the Bank winner or something, a future women's champion on the main roster. I could genuinely see that for JCJ.
yes.
I don't know if WWE sees that in her, but I do.
Yeah, I
I think you
mean,
do too, right?
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm with you on this. It's so funny that when her and I guess I could go back to calling her Priscilla Kelly, broke up, when she was
Yeah,
Gigi Dolan, that I really thought Gigi was going to be like the big baby face, and now Gigi's been released again, probably going back to being Priscilla Kelly, and JC has really come into her own. I think it has really improved.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to when she, hopefully, uh, breaks it off with Fallon, but in a babyface way. Because like JC is a solid heel. It's not that she's bad as heel, but I just
She's
think
great.
yeah, I just think we've seen like every side of Fallon because we've seen her as babyface, we've seen her as heel, and I'm just underwhelmed by everything that she has to offer at present.
I think
Um,
that JC as a face would be like a very interesting experiment, kind of similar to like when they had Roxanne turn heel. It felt very like unnatural and we were not ready for it and we weren't sure if it would work. I think JC going face is very similar vibes to that because we've never seen her as a face before.
yeah, exactly. And I'd be curious to see it. I want to see it. So yeah, that And yeah, then speaking of like all these other women like Jada and stuff like that, um Thea took umbrage with Tatum, who I love and I wish wasn't heel right now while we're speaking of alignments. For trying to gouge face last week. And then Tatum says like, "Well, you don't understand the toll it takes to lose everybody that you were close to." And then Thea's like, "Au contraire, I mean, Chase you. God, I do know what it means to lose
Yep.
people." But then Jada Parker hit a running knee to knock Hale down. And then Parker told Hale to save herself next time. Uh, Parker told Paxley she felt bad for her. Then Paxley questioned that, and Parker said, "Hell no," and then called Tatum stupid. There was a time a few months ago when like Tatum was still kind of babyface and she was playing with one of her dolls, and I think she interrupted a Jada interview, and I even said I would like to see those two become friends. And I just want it to be known that I have not taken that off the menu. Like if
I
NXT,
was so upset when Jada said hell no because I really agree. Like, I wish that they would become friends. I wish that Jada would have cozied up to Tatum.
I mean, bro, it would be because I will admit that I like this. I'm not going to be a hypocrite just because I don't like one of them now and I kind of tolerate the other now. I used to love Booker T and Goldust, the tag team, as a kid in 2002. This would be a far less bizarre version, but still like that kind of opposites kind of coming together type thing. I'd love it. I think there is money in a Tatum Jada Parker friendship because I think Tatum can, given her character and given how her character is supposed to talk, I think Tatum can talk. And we've already talked about like her in ring, how she works out, her understated athleticism, stuff like that. Tatum's cool, man. I fucking love her to death. I hate that she's in this spot.
Yeah.
I'm at least grateful that NXT is
Speaking
still
of
using her. Yeah,
prospects, Tatum Paxley. I mean, geez, like we've talked before about women that you would build a fucking division around. Talking about like Mariah May and Jamie Hayter and stuff. I think Tatum Paxley has that kind of upside.
yes, yes. Dude, 1,000%, 1,000 fucking percent.
Because between
Um,
between her look and her power game, because she is a former power lifter, she is extremely strong. And her in ring being as good as it is already with such little experience, and her character work being as good as it is, like she checks so many boxes. That woman just give her everything. And NXT's like, I hear everything, and I kind of think what I'm really hearing is the opposite. I'm going to go ahead and give her nothing.
And bro, first of all, I hate how right you are about that. I kind of wanted to memory hole it immediately, but I have to acknowledge that you said it and that you're correct. But then if you wanted to break them up, you just bring them up to the main roster together as a tag team, and then Lyra is like, "Oh, Tatum, I'm glad you made friends, but is Jada right for you?" And maybe you swerve, and maybe Jada is right for her, and Lyra goes heel, or maybe we get Tayra back together again,
I want Tayra,
or
man. I want, here's what I really want. I want Lyra to go to NXT and help Tatum. I want Lyra to be the one that reaches out to Tatum because Tatum is the one who is like suffering right now. She lost Gigi. She's with Javier Bernal, right?
yes.
She lost her BF. And when I say lost, I'm just saying they got released, right? Shotzi is another one that she was like part of a group with, Chemical X. Her whole faction got released, but her and her boyfriend got released. I mean, in character and in real life, there's got to be some level of survivor guilt going on there for sure.
Yeah. Dude, I love that you put it that way. I love that you framed it as survivor's guilt because yes, and I do think Lyra could heal her, but she's too busy dealing with another heal in Becky Lynch, and so yeah. Foster said Jada doesn't deserve a friend as wonderful as Tatum. Look, my own misgivings with Jada's personal beliefs aside, I'm hoping that she'll grow out of them with due time.
No,
Um,
he even just said the message before that. I don't like Jada and her meanness.
Yeah, well, Foster, maybe the meanness is like a mechanism, a defense mechanism, from true vulnerability and true friendship. Maybe Tatum and Jada can bring the best out of each other. I thought you were the one that believed in love more than anyone. Like you're the best of us, Foster. You can't go and flounder on that now and be like, no, except for Jada. What about the healing power of friendship? Damn it. But yeah,
Hashtag make Jadum happen.
oh, has anyone ever? No, you know what? I'm turning off Chris for this. Has anyone ever fucking told you that you're perfect? Holy shit! What is
Only
happening
you
to
and
your?
my mom.
Touch your own face right now.
I
Feel your own fucking excellence. Are you doing it?
yes.
You're doing it. I believe you. I believe you because you sound like you're receding in yourself, and you would only do that if you were authentically committing to something. So I am going to put my foot off the gas. I've put you through enough, but you are fucking perfect, and I love you. God, that's amazing. Yes, put it on a t-shirt. We're making it fucking happen. But no, in all seriousness, I love them both. I love them both so much, and yeah, like I'm getting past it because look, I'm trying on a personal level to cultivate. There were things I didn't know before. I had my own prejudices, my own ignorance. We all unlearn at our own pace. I just want to hope for the people that I'm rooting for that they have the desire to unlearn in the first place. That's the
Yeah.
key thing. So I do hope for Jada's growth because she is a hell of a talent. I said it before, I'll say it again. She is as close to Stone Cold Steve Austin, especially when he was breathing fire on everybody, late 90s, as you're going to get. And her making a friend, even if it was like a tentative friendship, I find that amazing.
Well,
Fucking
especially because
amazing.
she and Out the Mud are no longer really being associated with each other anymore.
Which is also kind of a shame, but you know what? I get it. And it's one of those rare cases where even though they're not being associated together, I think both acts individually are keeping afloat because I like OTM, man. And speaking of them, they did come back and they did beat Chase U. I mean, that's what you get, Kale Dixon. So yeah, they're great. I love them. I honestly wish again if Bourne and Tavion, which why aren't we fucking pushing Tavion? That should be the TwitWoW question every week when we talk about NXT. Why aren't you pushing Tavion until they push Tavion? But if they couldn't beat Fraxium and OTM, I really wish OTM would have been the ones to beat Fraxium because they're a hell of a team. So I really hope that they work their way back up the ranks. I'm actually amazed the Dark State haven't already gotten a tag title shot, given that they pinned one half of Hank and Tank. Why are we still dealing with these guys as tag team champions? It's called upgrading. Fucking do it. Um, so I've got a question for you, man, about NXT because this to me is the big talking point of the week, in my opinion. We're going to talk about Miles Bourne and Oba later in preview and predictions. We don't even really have to get into that. I want to know from you what you felt about Jasper Troy laying out Oba Femi because I have not watched one episode of LFG. I knew of it for weeks. I will say he looked impressive physically, but again, having not watched the show, I don't know how he developed, and all that reality shit. You don't know how much of it is like edited and like kayfabe and like all that stuff. But physically, he looked very impressive. And it was one of the few times where Oba selling, I could forgive it and understand it. I'm curious how you felt like this came off and how you personally received it, being such a huge Oba fan and stuff.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I also should just kind of fill you in. Jasper Troy isn't like a tough enough contestant who shows up off the streets wanting to become a wrestler. He's been in the NXT like performance center system for 2 years now. He actually competed on NXT live events and even a few times on NXT Level Up in 2024.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he's not like a new guy, like new. He's not like brand new to the business. He is new-ish in the sense that, like, 2 years is pretty new for pro wrestling. I mean,
Yes.
literally, like the future of Stardom Championship, you're qualified to try and get it if you're within 3 years of starting in business. So we've kind of taken on that mentality of like, if you're still within your first 3 years of the business, you're still kind of a rookie. Um, but my main point being, I have actually seen Jasper Troy wrestle before. I watched, I think it was him versus Dion Lennox on an episode of NXT Level Up, and I thought he was really good. I really liked him. So I am very optimistic about this, especially because he's actually a little bit bigger than Oba, believe it or not.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he looked like he had size and presence, like physically. So that doesn't really surprise me. Um, I am considerably heartened to hear your positive assessment of the situation because I will say I'm always not negatively. I'm open to a lot of stuff. You know that. But I was surprised. Like, man, you're having him go after Oba immediately. Like that's a statement to make.
They've been
Um,
using Oba to make statements a little bit lately. I mean, if you think about it, Dark State.
yes,
He was the
yes.
first one that they attacked, if I remember correctly, wasn't he?
Yeah, I believe you're correct. Actually, yeah. Now that I think about it, which I mean, bro, going back to our Oba Femi inevitable top guy discourse, that's another box checked because shouldn't a top guy be able to give rubs to other talent that you want to make while still maintaining that fucking aura? This dude does everything. I swear to God, what a fucking king. Jesus Christ.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's crazy. Okay, okay. Well, we'll see how it goes. Um,
By the way, I do want to correct myself. I mentioned that Jasper Troy is a little bit bigger than Oba. I think they're just the same height. Because I know that Oba is billed at like 6'5" or 6'6" and like 300 pounds or whatever. But before he was Oba fucking Femi, like before the legend really began, he was originally billed at 6'4", 275, and that's actually what he was listed at on his college's athlete website. So I'm inclined to believe that that is his real height and weight, and that the 6'5", 300 plus thing is the worked height and weight. And Jasper Troy's real name is Antoine Frazier. He went to Northern Iowa and he wanted to play in the NFL, so he actually got his shit weighed and measured and everything. Like he ran the 40-yard dash and did the vertical jump and all that like athletic shit to try and get into the NFL. So we also know that he is also 6'4". He's 1/8 of an inch shy of 6'4". But if we just stick with the rounding rules, he's 6'4". And I don't know what his weight is in WWE. I don't know because WWE never gives real numbers. They always work their numbers, right? But when
Right.
he was in college, coming, trying to get into the NFL, he was 330. He was fucking big. He was a guard, an offensive guard. So I don't know what his exact weight is right now, but height wise, he should be right at that exact same 6'4" real height as Oba. Obviously, they're going to wear like, lifts in their boots to look even bigger, and they're going to have build heights and weights and stuff. But as far as legit shoot sizes, they are eye to eye. And that's not a common thing in NXT. Like, even we talk about Keanu Carver, who we kind of talk about how, like, we lovingly call him Oba at home. And, he's a bigger guy, but he is not as big as either one of these dudes. He's like 6'2", 280 ish.
Right, right.
And that's a build height, too. I don't know how big he actually is.
Yeah.
But like Jasper Troy, we maybe don't have to talk about at home. We maybe can just say he's like an actual rival to Oba in terms of size and power, and that's exciting because he's brand new. He just won their big like reality show thing that they did. I'm also really excited for Tyra May Steele. I really liked her just before LFG even happened because again she was working on like NXT Level Up and stuff. And she is a literal Olympian. She is the first ever black woman to win gold in freestyle wrestling at the Olympics.
Oh wow.
It's fucking
Okay.
incredible, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds like a fucking beast. Holy shit.
She's
Okay.
literally an Olympic gold medalist. So like I am stoked about both of the winners of LFG. I didn't watch a single second of that show that wasn't advertised on Raw, NXT, or SmackDown because the only runtime of that show that I've seen was whatever's been advertised to me on paper on advertisements. on commercials.
Right.
I've never tuned into that show. I know it runs on Sundays. I couldn't even tell you what time on Sundays, if it's on a TV show like a network or if it's on a streaming service. I don't fucking know. But I'm really happy with the results of it because I like Jasper Troy a lot and I liked him. Dude, I can even go back in our Discord because I've mentioned Jasper Troy before in our Discord. I just want to know how far back. Here we go. It was in June of last year. I said, "Who is this absolute unit handing Riley Osborne his ass?" This was an episode of NXT Level Up, and
Okay.
it was Jasper Troy. It was Jasper Troy. So I was immediately a fan, and so yeah, big fan of his. Big fan of Tyra May Steele. You know, the Olympic gold medalist thing, and apparently like. I think she might have been the one that Bubba Ray Dudley kept on getting pissy about because she was smiling too much. So hopefully we get like a happy, cheery Tyra May Steele, but she's a fucking Olympic gold medalist, so the bell rings and all of a sudden she's a literal killer who can snap you in half.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, you've got me really intrigued by these people now, because again, like I didn't watch any LFG, and I don't even really like have the lore of like Level Up and like all this stuff. So yeah, that's intriguing.
You
It's
know what?
very
I want to
intriguing.
thank Alex Foster because he's the one that put me on to Level Up in the first place, and he's the only reason that I know these names and I'm familiar with these performers at all.
Oh man, Foster, does your beauty ever cease? Let me answer that for you. No.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Foster was for me with Level Up the way that Gallo was for both of us with Stardom. He was like always really enthusiastically talking up the show, and I just randomly decided to join him one week, and I didn't manage to stay consistent and watch it every week, but I tried to kind of peep in when I found the motivation at the right time, and it was it was never like a miserable watch by any means. It was usually pretty quick and easy, kind of like Evolve is now, but NXT Level Up was even shorter than Evolve. It was usually like a half hour.
Right. Right. Yeah, yeah. I've watched a handful of those with the Level Up. Yeah, that show that breezes by.
Yeah,
Um Not really much else to talk about from NXT, again trying to be more conversational and not just a recap show. I mean, again, they're continuing the Fallon JC story. Wake me up when something meaningful happens. We know Kalani is going to face Soul for the title at Battleground,
yes,
so that should be a fun matchup.
definitely.
I think it's funny because I think they did this matchup when Kalani was champion.
They did, and everyone was like, Soul should have won.
Yeah, and now they're doing it again, but this time with Soul having the title. So interesting that we're running this back, but with switched title holders.
You know
Um,
what, dude? While we're talking about NXT, I think when we feel very much like completely ready to move on, before we do move on, we should do a preview prediction for Battleground tomorrow.
how's my mind space? Because I was thinking of asking you the same thing when we finished the recap.
Yeah,
So yeah, because I figured NXT would be really really fresh in our minds.
yeah.
Any thoughts about the Joe Hendry concert?
No, not really. I mean, it seems like it made a lot of people happy, so that's cool. I, I'm happy that people enjoyed it. Not really for me. I don't like heel trick, and not in like a boo, I want to see you get beat up way, more just in like a mourning. I'm mourning babyface trick because like I loved him and I was really excited about him and I wanted him to go up to the main roster as a babyface and get cheered and whoop that trick, and the ovation was what I was really looking forward to. And
Yeah,
I don't know, like, is this heel turn going to stick if he gets called up in the next few months? Or are we going to just fucking flip the switch and say, oh, well, he's face again, and just ignore the last few months of character building for him?
I honestly don't know. I again, I'm still wondering if they would even call him up
And
to realign.
that's like an even worse option is like, does this heel turn mean that he's just not going to get called up until his character arc completes itself and he goes back to being a babyface? Because I
Yeah, and then
thought
does
that
he?
Oba, Javon, and Trick really Javon made the most sense to me as someone who would stay in NXT for a little longer, but Oba and Trick feel so main roster ready. It's crazy.
I'm amazed. Like I agree with you about Trek, and I know we're talking about Trek, but just because you mentioned Oba, I'm amazed Oba's still on the main roster. Like I'm proud of Julia for how they fast tracked her, but
Dude,
how
that's what
yeah,
I'm saying. Like, how does Julia show up and go up to the main roster in 6 months, but Oba and Trick are both still here? That's crazy.
like either they know weaknesses in Opa's game that we're just not seeing because they're masking it that well, or they're greedy because he is as good as you and I believe him to be, and they don't want to part ways with him yet. And we're
It
like,
almost
no.
makes me wonder if they're just not going to call him up until they have like a cleared out path for him to win a world title.
You know
And they're
what?
just going to fucking rocket strap his ass.
Listen to me right now, WWE. I hate you so much sometimes.
Have
It
him
really.
debut on the main roster in the Royal Rumble and fucking win it.
First of all, God, you're gonna make me unmute again. You're really gonna make me unmute again. How many times do I have to fucking tell you how perfect you are? Don't make me have to keep fucking doing this again. All right? You're fucking sweet and adorable. Touch your own face again while I'm talking. Anyway,
My fingers are on my chin.
Good. Feel it slow. Second of all, he's right. He should win. Who else is gonna win? Fucking Cody again? Cody again?
Oh,
no. Who else is gonna
Alberto
win?
Del Rio.
Yeah, Alberto Del Rio, his old gassed fucking ass. See, that collapse. Who else is gonna fucking win? Logan Paul? Yeah, well then there goes your hope of ever doing any international events in Japan with him on the fucking poster. Who else is gonna fucking win? Slot any man you want. They are beneath Oba. Because that's what happens when you're a god in a sea of fucking mortals. So first of all, this face, which I hope is still touching its chin, is 1000% correct. Second of all, don't fuck with me on this, okay? If you're keeping him in NXT where he's clearly superior and better than everyone, redundant, yes. Correct, also yes. Eat my ass. Then you need to have him come up and beat Cody Rhodes immediately. Immediately. Not one day after, not the pay-per-view after, immediately. In fact, don't even cut the promo. Stare at him, pull a Kevin Owens, you're going to realize kick, powerbomb, pin, world champion. It would literally solve everything. I rest my case. I don't know about you, but I think I just fucking ate. So, yeah, there we go. So yeah, concert was pretty bland. And then Foster comes in. Foster comes in with the rationale of Sami Zayn. Oh, okay. Sammy can stay, Foster. Yes, but still, Oba. Oh, more like Oba. Like, yes. Do you hear
Every
it in my
single time his music hits or I see him on my screen and I'm in the live wrestling discussion channel, I always type Oba like
crisp?
that with like 8
Yes.
O's and 13 A's.
Crisp or no crisp, if you attune your ear well enough, you can hear my loins frothing when that man is part of the fucking discourse. Fuck. All right. So that was NXT. Let's preview Battleground and stuff. So what match do you want to talk about first?
Oh, baby, let me pull up the card and find out.
Pull it up hard. I want to hear you while you're doing it. Yes. Do it to completion or not at all.
Hank and Tank are defending. Wait, no, they're not. Ew, fuck you. Hank and Tank and Josh Briggs are teaming up to take on the Culling, which is Brooks Jensen, Nico Vance, and inferior Sean Spears.
In the famous words of you, albeit with far inferior tone, who gives a shit?
Do you know what I really hate about this is that I think the Culling is gonna win, but fuck them. Dark State should be the #1 contenders to Hank and Tank's titles.
Yeah, dude, how they haven't gotten a title shot on this PLE when they pinned one half of Hank and Tank, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Maybe 3 weeks ago?
I'm saying.
Yeah, and you're saying it correctly. NXT is wrong. Sean, if you don't get that fucking eye fixed, I swear to God.
Wait, what did Sean do? Oh, you're talking about
Sean with the
inferior
yeah.
Sean.
Beg pardon?
You're talking about inferior Sean.
Yeah, Shawn Michaels, Hickenbottom. If he doesn't get that fucking crooked eye.
Oh, the other inferior Sean. Okay.
The other inferior. Yeah, like, fix your fucking product, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Where's Dark State's tag title shot? Oh, nowhere? Yeah, fuck you. The Culling wins. Fuck Josh Briggs.
Okay. How about Tony D'Angelo versus Stax?
Bringing the mood down and talking about this more seriously, is it too much to say that I feel like Stax has to win?
I am actively rooting for Tony to win and put this schmuck away.
Yeah, I don't I don't blame you for what you're rooting for. I just feel like given the story, like if Stacks doesn't win,
This feels almost, and I emphasize almost because it is nowhere near as egregious, but it does feel along similar lines of egregiousness to me as Eddie Thorpe pinning Trick Williams.
you know what? I'm sympathetic to you, right? I'm not saying like I'm opposite of you in sentiment. I'm just thinking in terms of booking, like, what do you do with Stacks if he loses? Like, I feel like the story is him because I feel like Tony's getting called up. Another person getting called up before Obafemi, if I'm right. Um, and yeah, so I feel like this is kind of a like a finality for Tony, and it's more about that than just like Stack shouldn't go over him, which again I agree with you in principle, but I think the bigger end is A, give Stacks his own family with its momentum, and B, wrap Tony up and get him on the main roster. So I'm going with Stacks for the win here, man.
Strictly because I know NXT is willing to do shit like this based on the fact that literally they had Ethan beat Javon, they had Eddie beat Trick. Like, it's absurd, but they'll do it. I agree. I think Stacks is probably going to win because, in terms of storyline, it sure would make him look really fucking foolish to turn on Tony and act like he has all the cards and then lose.
Yeah, I agree. So we agree, Stacks. What's the next matchup?
I have to ask, though, before we move on, is anyone, and I'm including you, chat, is there anyone in the room right now that sees Channing Stacks Lorenzo as a guy that's going to really stick around on the WWE roster for more than a couple years?
To be honest, when they did the releases, I was kind of surprised that he wasn't a part of it. I don't see it personally.
Like, I mean, they're obviously gonna like. Okay, so if he wins this, let's talk about implications here. Because if he does win this, is it safe to assume that Tony D gets whacked and shows up on the main roster over the next month or two?
That is the assumption I'm operating under. Yes,
Does
like he
Stacks
loses.
become the new Don though? Like, are Rizzo? I mean, Luca's fucking dead in kayfabe, right?
It seems like it, yeah, because we haven't heard from Luca, and then they've kept it consistent on Evolve because he hasn't been on Evolve anymore either since they started the storyline.
What
So
about Rizzo? Like, there was that really ominous scene where he was at her house, and then when Tony D showed up, Stacks just attacked him, and we never
low
saw Rizzo.
key, low key, I expect Rizzo to reemerge at Battleground and help Stacks win
You
because
know
like
what? That makes perfect fucking sense. Yeah, you're right about that. So, but then is Stacks gonna like bring in like one or two new people, maybe like from Evolve, as part of his new like NXT Mafia, and he's gonna be the new Don of that? Like, it's gonna be like rebuilt in his own image, with the only real carryover being Rizzo.
you know what? I like where your head's at. I'm just gonna say agree for now because I really don't have a better answer. I again I like how you're looking at this, and I can't see how they could
We
do it differently.
we have been
Um,
seeing Draco Knox as a security guard a lot.
that is true. We have, and it just makes me wonder, like, do they do they want to tap into that and make like a new family for him from there? Because I don't know anybody that's just been associated with NXT who you would get from that pool to be a part of Stax's family. Um, So yeah, I'm inclined to agree with you actually when you say that. So it's funny how you and I together are putting the pieces together because I only think Rizzo's turning on Tony because we even know from the hotel vignette a few weeks back that she reminisced about how Stack stood up for her, and they go back to like childhood. And I feel like when you plant that seed and then you don't even show Rizzo trying to break up the fight or being intimidated by Stacks, she's turning on Tony 100%. And then yeah, it's just who completes the family at that point. So we'll have to see. But yeah, it's funny because I don't hate Stacks, but I gotta be honest, like I look at him physically, and I guess his talking's okay, but not really memorable. I don't think he has the same presence that Tony does, which is why that I agreed with your question. Like, do you even see him in WWE in a few years? No, unless he changes gimmicks and has a gimmick that like surprises us or seems more befitting of him. I don't really see it because I feel like Tony's kind of mastered this Don gimmick, and I even said about Tony that I'd like to see him experiment in the coming years. You can't be this one character forever. Or maybe you can be. I mean, look at Pete Dunne. He hasn't had to change for shit, and he still gets bookings. So,
I mean,
you
that's
know,
the other thing that scares me though, is that like Tony D, his whole gimmick is that he is like this mafioso. The Don is literally like his gimmick name, right? Well, okay, so if he doesn't win this, who the fuck is he the Don of?
yeah, he'd have to be the Don somewhere on the main roster with potentially a new crew. But
Well,
again,
that's
who
again,
even got the crew?
that's where I'm conflicted. Is like if he goes to the main roster, is he still the Don on the main roster? And if so, again, who is he the Don of when he gets to the main roster? Like who are we buying into Tony D leading on the main roster when he's like a rookie?
Yeah, I
This is
don't
why,
know, man.
like, to me, it would have just made sense to just have the entire family get called up at the same time as a faction, because then, like, yeah, it's believable that like this established group that has an established pecking order all getting called up at the same time, like, yeah, that works. But now you're going to call up the leader by himself. You're going to have him look like a big fish who was in a small pond and now has to try and survive in a bigger pond. And I just feel like it's dead in the water.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's funny because this would be a match I think on any other day that like I would maybe be a bit mad about, but us really unpacking the implications of this, it does have me weirdly more hyped for it to see just how NXT answers all these questions because they do have a lot to answer for. There's no denying that.
I get,
So
it's interesting too because Tony is very much a babyface right now, but I think on the main roster he has to at least start as a heel.
you know what? I would agree with that only because like you don't have to really do a lot of work to make that plausible because he went through so much on NXT and losing his family, including Rizzo, if my prediction's right that she turns on him, that it kind of hardens you a bit, right? And you're like, I've got to be ruthless because I really believed in family and I embraced family, and this is
Yeah,
what happened.
yeah.
So
Maybe,
yeah, I actually
maybe.
agree with you. Yeah.
Here's a pitch for you. I want to hear what you think of it. It might be bad. What if Tony D takes over for the former Alpha Academy and that becomes his new faction?
You know, I I love it because you have Otis as the heavy, and I think a lot of people, even I've kind of forgotten because those PWG memories are starting to get a little faint.
Yeah,
But Tozawa can go, man. I don't know how many people even remember how good Tozawa is in the ring. So if like you give him now, obviously it wouldn't be the Yakuza because it's not all like Japanese or whatever. But if you would give him like Yakuza vibes, maybe dress him in a suit, whatever. I like it. Otis in a suit. Otis
yeah.
in a suit, being like a
Well,
jolly
plus, like,
mobster,
I
almost
mean,
like
I
yeah.
don't know. I love Otis, and I love Otis as a babyface, but we've seen him be a really scary, dominant, and effective heel already. I think you could do that again. I think that you could have Tony D kind of weasel his way into becoming the leader of that group because they do kind of give off that like baby bird vibe of like they're kind of directionless. They haven't really found success on their own. They kind of need new leadership, and Tony D could slot in there and he could kind of show them how to find success, maybe even lead them to some tag titles. I would love that.
Well, I think just because like I love that idea so much. I'm not how can I put this? God, because I have this vision for Otis specifically as like the enforcer, where like I don't want him to stop talking, but I'd actually want him to talk less and be like kind of more menacing, I guess. Like I imagine because I miss some of the more gimmicky parts of the Ruthless Aggression era, well, Attitude Era slash Ruthless Aggression era, like when APA had their own like bar in their own club where they played cards and stuff. I would love if Tony like had his own speakeasy or something, and like somebody was trying to gain access, and Otis was manning the door, and
Bouncer.
like instead of saying something when somebody was denied entry, he would just crack his knuckles and like I don't know, put him in a bear hug
Oh,
or something.
yo, that would be good.
Like, dude, because again, you know that
Yeah.
I live in this world. Like, I love this shit, right? And like, why I love your idea is it's so. You could even do like the cool nicknames like I know in Goodfellas, Ray Liotta did the narration. They called him Johnny 2 times because he said everything 2 times, and they cut to Johnny being like, I'm gonna get the papers. And you could do like cool nicknames for Tozawa and Otis, and like, yeah, I love that idea. And really, see Rizzo. I Maxine seems like a sweetheart, and I really don't want to be mean to her because she seems like a
I mean, dude,
sweetheart.
we've
And like,
seen Maxine succeed in different roles. I think she's pretty good at the character stuff. I think she could pull it off for sure.
I think she could pull it off too. But what about Rizzo? Like,
Well,
or no,
Rizzo would
Rizzo's
be
going
in
with Stacks. We don't have to.
Stax's faction in
Yeah, okay,
NXT.
yeah. That's right, that's right. So yeah, actually, yeah, Maxine can come through because that was what I. It's not that I don't think Maxine can pull it off. I had a brain fart there for a second, and I'm like, two women, like I don't know if it'd be compatible with Rizzo's character, but no, we don't have to worry about Rizzo because she's with fucking Stacks.
Yeah.
No, I love this. Oh my, and dude, it would be so, the timing would be so perfect because what's Alpha Academy doing right now but being decimated by Rusev? And so it's like they got decimated by Rusev. They're not in the tag title picture, even though they never got that title shot because Rusev interrupted it, oddly enough. You know, Chad, is still kind of making fun of him, kind of laughing at him. They've really got nothing to show for it. And then Tony comes in
Yeah.
and says, like, dude, I see your vision. I see it and I'm in love with it. And it pains me because I don't think it's going to happen. So now I'm sad. Um,
I'm sorry.
but I no, because I really enjoyed the 5 minutes that I got to pretend that it was a thing. And I'm like, because then when you know how to milk a story, because I really feel like it could get over because people fucking love Otis when you use him. When he stands up to Tony, unlike standing up to Chad, which fizzled out and they were kind of non-committal about it in this weird fucking way. And then they do have like a TV match that Chad just wins. You make Tony and Otis an actual program. Otis wins, and then maybe we get him just one time if Gunther is like having another world title at that point. Maybe you give him just one world title match just to show how he could be in that picture. Like, God, I love when you can have good stories that actually elevate people. And WWE is just like, look, we do that sometimes, but not for the people you like. So relax, simmer your ass. Fuck. Let's get back to Battleground. What's the next matchup?
Let's talk about the TNA World Championship match: Joe Hendry versus Trick Williams. I think Trick's winning this thing.
Yeah, I believe in Trick Williams. Sorry, Joe. I think he's gonna take. You know what? Because Joe Hendry's that fiery babyface, I could even see him kick out of an initial trick shot, but then Trick is gonna get another trick shot for the win. Yeah, Trick is 100% winning that title, and could I see Joe Hendry gaining it back? Yeah, I could see Joe Hendry being a two-time champion. But I do think he loses it here, so I'm gonna agree with you on Trick winning.
He ain't never backing down to an average Joe.
There you go.
Let's talk about the Women's North American Championship, Sol and Kalani. I think Sol just retains here. It seems like one of the most obvious picks on the board.
Do we think Zarya beats the shit out of her afterwards, or do you think they're still going to hold off on that a little longer?
I don't think she beats the fuck. Here's the thing. I don't know. I think that if Zarya wanted to betray Sol, she could have gotten herself disqualified against Kalani, saved herself a lot of effort, and Kalani would have gotten the title match. And then it would have been like, oh, well, shit. She doesn't like Sol. Uh, I think that Sol's going to retain, and Zarya is going to, like, confront her afterwards, like, face to face, belt motion type shit.
Yeah, can I also just say, and this is really about me for a second. Oh, so just say, I'm disappointed whenever I say, like, are they going to beat the shit out of someone? But that never really happens, right? It may be like a slap or maybe a couple of forearms and like maybe a finisher, but they still get up and walk out on their own power. Remind the people you betray that they have fucking orifices. Remind them in the most horrifying way possible. Christ. Like, I feel like I don't ask for a lot. Do you think I ask for a lot? I don't think I ask
No,
for a lot.
no, of course not.
God, you're delightful. So yeah, man, I think we're in agreement. What's the next matchup?
Steph and Jordan can be next, or Oba Miles can be next. I'll leave it up to you.
Um, you know what? Let's make Oba Miles next because no disrespect to Miles, and I'm so happy for him, but I do think it's a foregone conclusion. Oba just retains.
Yeah.
I think it's a good showing. I think it's a fun match. Might even be the match of the night. I'm not sleeping on these guys, but Oba retains. I actually think Stephanie and Jordan, even though I have a pretty firm idea of that match as well, that feels a bit more up in the air to me. So
I'm pretty confident Stephanie's going to retain. I guess they could go with Jordan if they're eager to get Stephanie up on main, though. Especially
I mean,
because, like, I think that there's still one slot left in Money in the Bank for Raw, and they could have Stephanie drop the title, show up the next night on Raw, and qualify for Money in the Bank.
Dude, I hate to say it because I actually really do like Stephanie, but if that only if that happens, which I doubt, but if that happens, in my mind, Julia never has to worry about Tam coming to WWE because Stephanie's become the new Tam to
Yeah,
Julia. It's
yeah.
like you take
She
things
just will not let her breathe.
exactly. You take things that I want, and I just can't fucking beat you when it matters, and oh god, I hate you. So that's I don't know. I kind of love that for them. That seems really healthy. So is that it? Is that the battleground card?
Yeah.
Excellent. We've already talked a good bit about SmackDown, including the things that really hurt me emotionally, which I think is great. I'm thriving.
Wow,
Um,
that sounded so sarcastic.
Look, man, it was. So
I'm so sorry.
it's I love you. You're okay.
Did you
Cha
see on SmackDown? Did you see did you see the the fucking Saban Champa match?
I heard about it. I didn't see it. Was it ass?
I mean, it was all right. It wasn't terrible or anything. It was just kind of one of those things.
On the recap site. On the recap site, I'm scrolling through SmackDown just to see, like, is there anything worth talking about, kind of thing. Um, there's a picture of LA Knight kind of shrugging after qualifying, and it's like the universe is mocking me. It's like the face that says, I know this is what you wanted the least, but we're giving it to you anyway. Life's tough, and then you die. Fuck. Oh my god.
I will
Okay.
say regarding Saban Champa, for me personally, it did overstay its welcome a little bit. It just felt a little long to me. That might have
Yeah.
just been due to ads, though.
Dude, ads can eat ass. Ads are the fucking worst.
I
You know,
guess.
maybe instead of selling me on something, you can sell yourself on getting good.
Oh,
Well,
wow. I never looked at it that way. You're so right.
you don't have to because you're beautiful already as you are. You don't need to advertise because people already want to be around you because you're wonderful.
Wow.
Fuck.
Man, those are some really nice words.
Yeah, hold tight to them. You earn them. All right.
Anyway, did you see Secret Harvest versus BFAB and Mishin?
No, I'm seeing here on the recap that the babyface team won. That's cool for them.
Yes.
Actually, there is something I do want to talk to you about that unfortunately I did not see, but I've wanted to make time to watch. And I wish I would have done that today because really the big thing seemingly from SmackDown that I want to talk to you about. How did it feel the Wyatt Six coming back and seemingly like at the expense of the tag division
Oh,
and stuff like that?
I hated it
You
so much.
sighed. That can't be a good thing.
I fucking hated this, dude.
Oh, dude, no. Oh God, walk me through
I
it.
mean, dude, you heard me last night when we got on about how much I hated the ending of SmackDown.
And that was the ending was Wyatt Six coming back and oh fuck. That's a shame. Cause I
You know,
like yeah.
you know that I was excited and anticipating the return of the Wyatt Six. And I am so pissed off at how they returned because I feel like I shouldn't say I feel like. In my opinion, everything about their return was fumbled because first of all, it was used to protect Fraxium, which grosses me the fuck out. Like, you
Yes.
really couldn't just have Fraxium eat a clean fucking loss to the Street Profits this one fucking time? You really need to protect them that bad that you couldn't just have them lose the fucking tag title shot? You're really like dragging this out. You're going to have them get another shot at it? That's ridiculous to me. Second of all, you have the Wyatt Six interrupt this main event and go after the Street Profits, which completely fucks up the Six's lore for me because their whole gimmick has always been that they go after people who treat their family like shit. What the fuck have the Street Profits done to warrant that?
Not a goddamn thing.
And third of all, my assumption at least is that they decimated the tag division because they're going to go after the tag titles, which, like, this is like Bran becoming the fucking king of Westeros. What happened to I have no want anymore? The fucking Wyatt Six aren't supposed to go after titles. They're spooky ooky mystic fuckers. They're not title chasers. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, yeah, and that's like we should have known that that whole framing would have become a problem down the road because you kind of box yourself into a corner to me because you're either like always in main event angles or at least like really personal angles that like kind of transcend titles, but like this is this is WWE, and I could count on one hand per year how many feuds don't revolve around championships or about something more meaningful than championships. It's not something the company specializes in, but I'm glad that you brought that up because I think it warrants a deeper conversation about this company needing to challenge itself creatively with how it tells stories. I mean, bro, like what was it? Choco Pro? Well, and I've used this example before because Joe Shizzle, who I think is still Neo Joe Shizzle on YouTube, they still have a presence there on YouTube. They talk about like Lulu and her hat, Lulu pencil, and the hat that she wore. And they did this whole storyline over this hat that like had a lot of emotion to her, and it was a genuinely compelling story. Other companies all the time do stories that transcend championships, and I feel like WWE they don't. It's not that they don't do it ever, they just don't do it that often. So for the Wyatt Six to eventually come down to the level of we want those titles, it doesn't really surprise me all that much in the grand scheme of things because I don't think they were capable of sustaining a gimmick that by its very nature transcends titles for very long. So I hear you, man, and it sucks, but I'm not too surprised.
Yeah, and like, here's the thing. I don't want people to listen to this and be like, oh, they were only doing it because it's Bray Wyatt's birthday. I understand that. They could have found a way to have the Wyatt Six close the show without needing to bury the tag division, bury the Street Profits, especially having them be the tag team champions, not being able to get a successful, clean defense in, and basically humanize the Wyatt Six. You could have had the Street Profits retain, have the Wyatt Six, have the lights go out like they did during the match, have the Wyatt Six just be at the top of the ramp, and now the birthday cake could have been there, and that could have still been the closing shot of SmackDown, and there would have been implications that maybe they won the tag titles, but there wouldn't have had to be. They could have left it ambiguous. But instead, they hit you over the fucking head with a goddamn mallet to make it extremely clear these guys are way better and way stronger than everyone else in the tag division, and they're targeting the tag division, which probably means they won the tag titles.
I'm going to point out something to you just for your own sake, given that you said out your own words that you hated this. I would consider this for you for either worst finish or like just I know we don't have a worst unsanctioned segment of the year, but just for a worst of category for you because it sounds like to you this one segment did a lot of damage, especially to the Wyatt Six perceptually as a faction. So just something for you to think about. I do want to go back and watch this myself, like on YouTube and stuff, because I know WWE on USA, they're really good about uploading full segments. And I think they did upload the full segment of this. Um, I just want to take a minute too, because I don't want to sweep this under the rug. And I'm glad that you've really kind of emphasized it. I feel bad for the Street Profits because, I felt like they had, and I know you didn't care for the match, but it seemed like the people in attendance cared about it. And I'm sure online buzz ate it up. They had that TLC retention. And I'm like, oh, this might be a watershed moment for Street Profits. They're looking like a real legitimate team. They have the gold. They can win the big matches in the main event. They're being booked relative to their talent level. And yeah, I say both of them. I mean, Angelo Dawkins, I used to sleep on him. He's put in the fucking work. I mean, that tag team is 10 out of 10 on, to me, every side. Their promos have gotten more serious and more like locked in. Like, you're not taking this from us. Then you lose out of nowhere to Fraxium. Now you're still competitive with Fraxium and Wyatt Six come in and destroy you. I don't know, man. I feel like Street Profits are low-key getting nerfed a little bit here, and I really don't like it.
Dude, it is actually ridiculous because the whole gimmick with Fraxium is gotta go fast. That's their whole fucking gimmick, is that they're just fucking spastic guys who run fast and kick out of everything and no sell everything. And
Yes.
like, if there was gonna be any fucking team that should be able to fucking decimate them, it is guys who are also fast and twice their size.
Yes. 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 God. dude, if you would have told me at the time that segment of Fraxium begging Ava for an NXT tag title rematch would be the beginning of these two being quite possibly my most hated tag team of all time for as long as I've been watching wrestling, I wouldn't have believed you. I would have been like, that sounds like a bit much. It sounds like typical John hyperbole to get a pop. But no, sincerely, I'm these people, these guys, and like, yeah, Axiom's like okay, but I really don't like his Kushida aspects. They really are an insufferable territory for me. It used to be I really don't like them. Now it's like, God, would you just go the fuck away? Because I feel like any tag division you're a part of, other tag teams that I would like to see get the priority over you are now going to be, pushed down. Street Profits are the fucking champions, and they don't feel to me like as much of a priority as Fraxium. Now, I'm not trying to, again, be hyperbolic or whatever. Again, that's just how it feels to me that they're your fucking champions, and they feel more of an afterthought relative to Fraxium than
No,
Fraxium
it
does to the
feels
fucking
very
champions.
similar to AEW last year when Swerve was the champion, but it felt like they were trying to build the company around Osprey.
I remember you saying that, and yes, yeah, because I remember us talking about that, and I think, yeah, very, very similar. And you
Because
know,
like the Street Profits are killing it with their promos, having great matches, entertaining crowds, connecting with the crowd. And then here comes Fraxium, these two little shits from NXT, and they just get the fucking rocket strap immediately. And it's like Street Profits are just an afterthought now, even though they're fucking champions.
yes, yes. My God.
Also, I used the Swerve Osprey comparison for a reason. Pay attention to some, racial relationships going on here because, Triple H is
Oh,
really not even making any effort anymore to beat the allegations. I think he's
oh my
maybe even
God.
leaning into the allegations.
How is it that something that emanates from your face can already be bad and somehow get worse? Oh God. You're so right. I didn't even think about that component until you said it. Oh God. Do I hate it here? I think I hate it here. Fuck, I hate it here. Shit.
Welcome to the party, pal.
I just wanted to abscond with some bean dip.
We have pizza and donuts.
Are they good? God,
Is there such thing as a bad donut?
I love donuts. I can't say. I can't. Yeah, no. Fuck. All right. Anything else worth talking about from SmackDown?
Um, Dude, there was a really good tag match on SmackDown that wasn't the tag titles. Did you see it?
No, what was it?
Ray Phoenix and Jimmy Uso versus Jacob Fatu and JC Mateo.
Did Jimmy Uso fail? Wait, let me read the
He
results.
okay.
Yes, he did. Oh my God, that's beautiful.
He
Yeah.
got pinned by a tour of the islands, baby.
Seeing Jimmy Uso fail, it's like seeing the ushering in of spring after a harsh winter. It's like knowing that everything you dreamed of is going to happen. It's like that love that you thought was going to fall apart. You find the right words and the right actions to truly make it. It makes you so happy to be alive seeing that man fail. So thank you, JC Mateo. Beautiful. You said this is a fun tag match. I should watch it because Jacob and Mateo being on the same team, that sounds fucking fire. But we know Jacob is sus on Mateo. So was there any kind of progression there on that front?
No, I mean they actually coexisted. There was a little bit of tension, like you could tell that they weren't enthusiastic about tagging each other, especially Jacob wasn't enthusiastic about tagging in JC. And the winning sequence had JC kind of stealing a tag from Jacob. Jacob didn't like freak out or anything. He didn't like, look at him angry or anything. I mean, he might have like side-eyed him a little bit, but JC went in and won the fucking match, so you can't be too upset.
I mean, dominance, duh. But apparently, I think it was Foster earlier in the chat said that "I love you" solo is back. Would you mind providing some
Yes.
context to that?
Yeah. Um, it was because it was announced later on in the night that Jacob was in a Money in the Bank qualifier match next week. Once that was
Oh,
announced, we had a backstage segment where Solo was informing Jacob of that, and Jacob did the "I love you" Solo thing after that. as a way to like
Well,
thank him for getting him in Money in the Bank qualifying.
look at that. Maybe Solo can have it all. Maybe the real Solo Sokoa was the
The
friends we
friends we
made
made
along the
along the
way.
way.
Yeah, yeah, maybe, maybe. Not really though. Jacob's gonna pull away eventually, and I am so fucking here for it. I will be okay with Jacob qualifying. I don't think he will. I really do think Andrade is gonna qualify, but somebody needs to stop LA Knight. That's really
Dude,
all I care about at this
it's
point.
so
Yeah.
funny you say that because there was also a segment involving Mello where the Miz was like, I talked to Nick Aldis and he offered me a spot in the qualifying match next week, but I told him to put you in it instead. And it turns out that it's with fucking Jacob and Andrade.
Oh, Miz, you fucking stinker.
Oh man, the Miz really should just be the WWE's Bugs Bunny.
Yeah, dude, yes. That needs to be his final form, his final evolution. Oh God, I'm so here for that. Why am I so here for that? I'm starting to tilt, I think. Um, anything anything else from this SmackDown, bud? Because yeah,
No.
it seemed like a good show, but yeah, I didn't really see too much
Oh
talk about like
yeah,
in
there
depth.
was something. Bianca is back on SmackDown. She had a vignette, like a sit down talky thing where she talked about how much of a struggle she's been through and that she's going to be back on SmackDown next week in her hometown of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Bianca, that's great for you. I want to focus on the real hero of the I didn't expect you to pop like that. I cut myself off because then I popped. Fuck.
It's because I just know you're going to talk about Naomi.
I mean, you're right. Okay. You're right. I mean, way to give the game away for everyone. But no, I was God, you fought me hard. Fuck. I was just going to say, like, I love that for you, Bianca. But let's talk about the real hero of the story. You know what? I can't even do it now because you popped me too hard, and you know where I'm going with this. Look, Naomi's qualifying. She's winning Money in the Bank, and she's cashing in on Jade at SummerSlam. You heard it here first. You heard it first face here on TWitWoW. Yeah, those were words.
Wow, great job, bud. You're fantastic at
God, you're so fucking right. God,
word.
I love everything you say about me up until saying that I need to get help, which you do say sometimes, but not too often, which I
I
like.
I say that about you less often than you say that about you.
You know what? You're right, and you don't have to be that right. Everyone, okay? God. So I think that's it. Yeah, I think
Yeah, let's
yeah.
move on. Wait, do we have to talk about AEW?
No, we don't have to talk about it. We can move on and pretend that it doesn't
Are
exist.
we obligated to talk about AEW?
It is part of the world. God, I wish it would secede. Fuck.
I have a question.
I have an answer, maybe.
Actually, I want to rephrase that. It's not necessarily just a question. I have an assignment for everyone.
Homework. Wait. Can I say it like how you said no, snow? Hold on a second. Homework. No, I still don't have the voice for it. Fuck. I give up. Anyway, what's the assignment?
I want us all to do a little field research. I want to know if there is a genuine good faith segment of fans who think Will Ospreay is a really good promo.
You know what? Yeah, let's do it. All right, chat. You heard it here. You already know my answer, so I'm not going to participate. So
Because every time I watch one of these AEW recaps, this British motherfucker is talking, and it is some of the cringiest shit I have ever seen in the history of pro wrestling, but they keep letting him do it. So he's gotta have fans somewhere.
all two of them.
I mean, if
Ugh.
even if it's only one of them and that one happens to be Tony Khan, that's all he needs to keep getting to do it.
Oh God. Is this the problem with billionaires? I mean, obviously it's more than that, but I don't know. It's kind of pretty high on my list. Fuck.
I just every time Osprey has a microphone in his hands, I just buckle up because I know I'm about to witness peak cringe.
Dude, And the worst part is he believes in himself so hard.
That's
This
what
is
that contributes to the cringe though. If he was
yes.
being cheeky and he was doing like tongue in cheek, like cringe Kino on purpose type shit, I might even find it entertaining. But he is trying so fucking hard.
Yes. Yes. Will Osprey is the poster child, so immediately the poster sucks because, that face. But he's the poster child for why you should never believe in yourself too much. Like humility is good. Being humbled by life is good. This man has not been humbled by life enough, and that's a problem. I guess that's my hot take for the evening. Um, yeah, man, I think he's terrible. Like you already know, and I don't watch AEW, but I've unfortunately watched enough of Osprey talking that I can have an opinion on this, and the opinion is it's shit. Um, yeah, it's really not good. I'm even starting to wonder who is the best talker in AEW because I actually like MVP on the mic with Hurt Syndicate. I
Yeah.
think he's good. I actually think all three of them. I don't think there's a bad
You know
talker
what?
in Hurt Syndicate. Yeah.
I am gonna throw my not my name, but I'm gonna throw a name into the ring. Jamie Hayter.
You know what? You were raving about her promo on the Discord recently. I still need to watch that. Yeah, that was actually something good on
I
AEW
don't
this
know
week
if
according
there
to
is
you.
anyone in AEW, regardless of gender, who cuts a promo that makes wrestling feel real, sells you on wanting to see them wrestle, and doesn't feel like cringe high school drama at the same time, other than like Jamie and maybe Mariah to a degree, but she's not even there anymore right now. She's probably headed to WWE.
Dude, it's so funny you said that because I was going to say, like, I'll check out Jamie's promo, but before her, I would have said Mariah because Mariah was eating when she got to talk. And now she's leaving, hopefully, to flourish in WWE. Hopefully. Um, so yeah, I'll have to check it out because, man, a good talker in AEW, talk about a hay in the fucking needle stack. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah. You know what? I like that Alex Foster shouted out Samoa Joe because not
Yes.
only is he right that Samoa Joe is definitely like absolutely in the conversation, but that also reminded me Eddie Kingston is also, I think, in the conversation.
Eddie, however, I feel about his conditioning and his in ring, which let's just say that my opinions aren't positive there. That dude can fucking talk.
Yeah.
That dude, I'll tell you, if he ever wanted to be a manager down the line when he felt like he couldn't go anymore in the ring, I will support whoever you're managing, man, because you will make me believe in them, whoever the fuck it is. Yeah, he's an excellent talker for sure. But again, it just feels so rare. It feels, especially when I'll tell you, it feels rarer than it may even actually be because I just feel like they give the shitters too much talking time. So then it kind of distorts your perception of the actual landscape. Again, why are we still giving Osprey a microphone? To your point, it makes no fucking sense.
Anyway, so the reason I bring this up is because AEW opened with an Osprey Hangman promo battle, and of course, because I think Osprey is cringe as fuck, I'm always gonna say Hangman decimated him here. But even ignoring the sort of PvP like 1v1 aspect of this, I just thought Hangman cut one hell of a promo here. He was great here.
Dude, Hangman's a great talker too. I've really enjoyed ever since like the Swerve program where he was becoming more unhinged. I enjoy how the man talks when he was a baby face and he was kind of that baby face that like was open about mental health issues and like yeah, I'm a cowboy, but I'm a depressed cowboy. Like I feel like he has never, whether he's a baby face or a heel, he has never been a bad promo. I think he knows how to work a microphone. He knows how to sell us. I mean, if promo is short for promoting or promotion, he knows how to promote himself and he knows how to promote the angles he's involved in. If anything, Osprey, and I know Osprey won't see it that way because he has his head so far up his own ass, he thinks he's the greatest wrestler since fucking Misawa or whatever. That I think he's lucky to work with Hangman. Not the other way around.
Yeah.
I hope Hangman wins it all in. I just don't see it happening. I think Osprey
No,
wins.
yeah. I mean, it's funny because I've seen people say that they think that Hangman's going to win, and of course, when anybody who's a wrestling fan makes up their mind, they're going to be very confident about that opinion. And you and I are both also guilty of this. But
Yes,
like,
of course.
I just don't trust AEW to not push Will Ospreay to the fucking moon.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Like if they're putting a mic in his hands every week for like 5-10 minutes, why wouldn't they have him win the Owen and then win the world title? I mean, here's the thing: I say win the world title. I still think Darby's going to be the one to come back and beat Moxley for that thing. So maybe it almost is better for Ospreay to win the fucking Owen because I'm convinced that whoever's winning the Owen is just failing to beat Moxley then anyway because I think Darby's just going to do
Yeah,
it. Darby
because
wasn't even in the Owen.
bro, you've been saying for months when we talk about AEW and specifically this topic that like Darby's the conquering hero. Darby's the white guy that stops the white supremacist faction. And yeah, like there have been plenty of TWitWoW episodes of you on record saying this. And I agree with you, man. I agreed with you then, and I agree with you now for sure. And yeah, and you know how I feel about Darby too. Like this company really just cannot get out of its own way in pushing shitters. So can't say I'm enthused.
All right. So, and by the way, did you see Darby did finish climbing Everest? He's like, I think he's like doing the descent now or something.
I did see that, yeah. So
Yeah.
it really can't be long now until he's back and we do this
I think
program
he'll
proper.
probably return at All In, which is in July.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. That seems feasible to me.
Unless he has some kind of health complications from climbing Everest.
Which it's Darby. Who fucking knows, you know? I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, I
Yeah,
just
you're right. Knowing him, even if he did have health complications from climbing Everest, he wouldn't give a shit and he would just come back anyway. He would just hide it from Tony.
like to live life on the extreme,
Yeah.
man. Fucking hate
Anyway, um, there was a I want to say 6-man tag match. I think between because here's the thing. I'm on a recap website and they're using fancy cutesy little like official tag team names rather than just telling me who the fuck was in the match. And it's listed as Bucks of Death versus Swerve and the Ops. So you
you.
tell
Oh,
me who
okay.
that is. I mean, it's the Young Bucks and someone versus Swerve and some assorted arrangement of the Ops. I don't know which ones.
Dude, I have no idea. Because you said Bucks of Death, right?
Yeah. So it's probably the Bucks and the Death Riders, right?
I guess so, yeah.
So I'm guessing that it's just the Bucks and maybe Moxley versus
Yeah.
Swerve and Samoa Joe and maybe Powerhouse Hobbs. That would be my guess.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds right to me.
And Swerve pinned Matt Jackson. So wow, hey guys, would you look at that? Swerve got his win back on Matt fucking Jackson, who pinned him.
Yay. This company, man. I don't know. I don't know. Um Yeah, I really have nothing else to say. You know how I feel about AEW week to week. If there's anything else you want to say, please feel free. But I'm good to ask you about extracurriculars and getting to our Q&A from the audience at this point.
Uh, God. I mean, Mina was on Dynamite this week. She beat Julia Hart.
That's good. I do like that they're pushing Mina. She will be, if I could speak, one of the best assets that company has in their women's division if they really know how to, utilize her properly. So,
You know, you say that, and yet they had her basically turn heel after this.
what?
So Mina won the match, and then Julia Hart attacked her. And Mina started to get the upper hand on Julia because, I mean, she beat her in the match. So it would only make sense that in a brawl she would also win, even though Julia got the upper hand by attacking her. Mina turned it around and started locking in the figure four. Sky Blue came out, though, because she and Julia Hart are friends. So we got a 2v1 there. And then Tony Storm, who was at ringside for the match, comes in to help Mina.
Yeah.
And they did like a weird thing where Mina tried to take the title from Tony and we got like a weird tug of war segment. And then Mina just flat out attacked Tony. Like dragon screw and then locked her in a figure four around the ring post, Bret Hart style.
Oh, when you do the Bret Hart figure four, yeah, that's definitely heel coded. And I'm guessing the crowd booed this because we know they love the
They
timeless
love
gimmick.
Tony Storm.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, they kind of like it was. I don't know if it was like a full blown heel turn, but they at the very least had Mina do very, very heelish shit after beating Julia Hart in this, on this show.
But that, first of all, my issues with Tony aside, that she's, I don't really care for the gimmick. I think it's played out, but people still love it. So I mean, I'm not going to criticize what people love, within reason. So that's fine. I don't understand though how you could turn Mina heel, and the whole thing about we want Mina is just like knowing how beloved she is, and this and that, and now you're gonna try and make her a heel because to me, I shouldn't speculate on politics or backstage or whatever, but when you tell me that, I think the crowd would have sided with Tony anyway. I don't have any delusions that Mina could have won the crowd over at Tony's expense, but it makes me wonder: are you so afraid of even finding that out that you make sure that Mina's the definitive heel, so it's not even a question of who the babyface is supposed to be? Like, I don't know, man. It kind of reeks to me of like that story I heard of them scrapping the fucking Hogan Jake Roberts program because Jake hit a DDT on the snake pit on Hogan and the crowd was chanting DDT and they couldn't handle like Hogan not being a babyface in the dynamic. I wonder if AEW just can't handle, or if Tony can't handle, just like not being the definitive babyface in a feud when, yeah, people fucking love Mina. So like, again, I do feel like the crowd would have sided with Tony anyway. I'm not that delusional. It's just funny to me that you have to go out of your way to torpedo the belovedness of Mina just to really protect Tony as a face.
Right.
That's how I see it. You telling
Yeah.
this to me without me watching it.
Yeah.
So that's just my opinion.
Yeah. And admittedly, I know that Super Blue was kind enough to post a recap of Collision in the Discord, but I have not watched it, so I have nothing to say about Collision.
Okay. I just realized we never talked about Evolve.
That's
Um,
right. It was a decent show this week. I remember enjoying it.
the only thing I hated was Kylie Ray getting the final spot in the women's four-way.
Yeah, she is not good. I
No.
really hope Kendall Gray wins that thing.
Dude, you and me fucking both. And again, if not Kendall Gray, Wendy Chu. Like I'm good
Oh
with
yeah.
either of them.
I mean,
Like,
yeah. I mean, literally, it's anyone but Kylie Ray. Like, if
yeah.
Callie Armstrong wins it, I'm not going to be upset.
See, and what concerns me, because both of these fatal four ways are elimination matches,
Yeah,
and for the women's, to me, that's painfully telegraphed because you're telling me that the final two are going to be Kylie and Wendy, and that's when Kylie finally beats Wendy Chu and becomes first ever Evolve Women's Champion, which, what a fart start to that championship's lineage. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
yeah. She is. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want to like her. I want to like her because fuck Chris Jericho, fuck AEW for covering it up. Like everything that went down with her, she has my sympathy, she has my empathy, all that. Despite that, I can still watch her through more objective lenses and see that she's just not a good promo. I mean, her in ring is fine, I guess, but do not let her touch him. I mean, Sean Legacy. I mean, here's the thing. With Sean Legacy, you've got like a 9 out of 10 in ring paired with a 1 out of 10 mic worker. Kylie Ray's like a 6 out of 10 in ring and a 1 out of 10 mic worker.
I think that math is spot on. I think that grading is spot on, I should say. Um, and I
Wouldn't want to
think
give credit to math.
never, never on your fucking life. Um, but no, in all seriousness, I'm enjoying this conversation we're having. I think because you're a beautiful human being. I mean, I've made that painfully clear tonight about your face. You're making the very real distinction between Kylie Ray as a person, that you're sympathetic to what she went through. It's shitty she went through it, and it's even shittier it got covered up, but also understanding that when she is a performer and you are performing, that performance is going to be evaluated, whether you like it or not, whether you like how evaluations are done or not. And I can even be sympathetic to a lot of that. People are going to judge what you produce, as all art is judged when it's produced.
She's like the opposite of AJ Styles, who we know is like a shitty person and a flat earther and a conservative piece of shit. But my God, is he good at this?
Dude, I know. It's like I want to hate you and you make it so hard. Randy Orton's kind of the same way too, by the way. Because, like, believe me, I've seen that Twitter feed. Yikes. And yet he's hilarious. And so it's like, God, you are so shitty, and I worry about your children and how they're going to be and how they're going to continue to propagate shit in the world because of how you raise them. But fuck if you don't pop me when you spaz out after a DDT.
Yeah.
Fuck. Um so yeah, like given that it's elimination, I just see Kylie Ray and Wendy Chu final two. And then yeah, the Kylie wins. And here's the thing. I'm gonna say for posterity on recording what I said to you while we're watching Evolve together, because it's really grown to be something that I like because we watch it together and we kind of just tell each other, in the moment how we felt about the show or how we felt about a certain thing. I feel like what bummed me out in kayfabe, even, and you don't even have to look at Kylie personally or as a performer. In kayfabe, Zara Zacher got screwed. She
Yes.
beat Kylie in like Kylie's first Evolve matchup. And like, where was her qualifier?
Zara is,
So
I think, undefeated in Evolve 2, isn't she?
I believe so. I don't think Zara Zacher's lost a match yet. So where the fuck is her again? Where is her qualifying match? Because like, I
Yeah.
love.
Oh, you know what? She lost to Kendall Gray on episode 4.
You said she lost to Kendall Gray.
On episode 4, yeah.
Okay, okay.
But
Because
she
like,
beat Aria Bennett most recently on episode 8, and
yeah.
she beat Kylie Ray on episode 2. So,
Okay, yeah,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
and that's the thing too. I bring up Aria Bennett because she was in the qualifying match that Kylie Ray won to get into the fucking championship match.
yeah.
Why are two women that Zara Zacher has beaten getting an opportunity to qualify for a match for the championship, and Zara isn't? That makes no sense.
It really doesn't. Especially when again, like you've got people like Zeta Steel, who I love Zeta. I am rooting for her. We really enjoyed her in Monty Gold. She's great, right? No problem with her. But like Zara's won more than you, like in kayfabe, and yet, yeah, Zeta's in this qualifier, and she doesn't even win it, unfortunately. Even though I'm really digging the Vanity Project,
Yeah.
and yeah, it just God, and Kylie Ray again as a performer, I just do not like her at all. The word I would use again for her character and just as a performer on the promo side, it's grating to me. It's grating and it feels very
Again, I
artificial.
know I'm aging myself. I know that I am one of the oldest people in our community. I think there are very few. I think there's literally like 2 people in our community that are older than me. But if you know who Boxy was, the old internet sensation Boxy, Kylie Ray
Yes, yeah,
talks like her. Kylie Ray reminds me of her in her promos. But the difference is, Boxy was a fucking teenage girl. And you're allowed to be cringy and annoying when you're literally a teenager trying to figure out who the fuck you are, following trends and just trying to like survive at that rate. Christ. Kylie Ray's got like 30 years old. Be an adult. Jesus Christ.
yeah, dude. Again, like and again, I'm not saying it's epidemic. I'm not saying it's an industry wide problem. I'm just saying generally, I don't like when I see people that don't even try and shed gimmicks that either just have no mileage or they clearly it just doesn't see there's like an incongruity there, like
Yeah.
Kylie Ray,
Yeah. Well,
Pete
and dude, here's the
Dunne.
thing too. Kylie Ray got into
Yeah.
pro wrestling in 2016. Think about the timeline. Think about when Bailey burst onto the scene into NXT as the hugger.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That's like Kylie. I mean, look, here's the thing. It was smart and it worked, but she was absolutely trying to capitalize on the popularity of Bailey's hugger gimmick when she got into the business. It worked. She got into AEW. They were planning on building the division around her. And then the fucking Jericho thing happened. And I am very proud of her for getting out of that situation.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
But literally just figure out a way to adapt. Please do something different. Bailey did. Why can't you follow her fucking lead?
Oh, that's why Bailey, unironically, like I'm not even taking the piss. That's why Bailey to me is goaded because not only did she adapt, she would go on to have one of the best runs of her fucking career. That
Yeah.
SmackDown Women's Championship reign doesn't get enough love to me.
Here's the thing.
Yeah,
Let's keep in mind Bailey had the hugger gimmick, I believe, for 6 years. Because if I remember correctly, she debuted. Was it 2014 or was it 2013 that Bailey debuted? Do you remember?
Um, no, I don't remember actually.
I think okay. She made her NXT television debut on March 20th of 2013.
Okay.
She turned heel and like destroyed the Bailey buddies and shit. Was that right after SummerSlam of 2019 or was it 2020?
I want to say 2019.
Okay.
I want to say 2019.
I want to see if I can find an actual like solid answer for that. Here we go. May, July. It was 2019. It was September of 2019 Bailey turned heel. So she used the hugger gimmick for 6 years. It was 6 years from 2013 to 6.5, 2013 to 2019. Kylie Ray adopted Kylie, Smiley Kylie in 2016. So that's 3 years later. And she still fucking has it 9 years later.
Yeah. I mean, you got to shed that and you got to embrace something else. Come on, man.
And please change your promo style because it is bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's probably our first ever Evolve or WWE Evolve Women's Champion, though. So buckle up, baby. I hope that what really happens is that she doesn't win, but she just eliminates Wendy Chu, and that's like such a big triumphant moment for her. And then she just gets fucking railroaded by like a Cali connection and gets pinned right away. That would be amazing.
Dude, yes, please. Please, because I don't know, Kendall Gray being the first ever Evolve Women's Champion sounds so fucking nice to
That
me, but
see, like if it can't be Wendy because she has to lose to Kylie in order to complete their story, it has to be Kendall to me. Kendall is absolutely the choice. She was literally the winner of the first ever match of WWE Evolve. Bring it full circle, baby.
God, I've already done it twice tonight, so I'm not gonna do it again, but your face, man. Jesus Christ. Because I agree. Like, I didn't even think about her winning the first match. You're so right. Like, holy shit, it has to be Kendall. At first, I really wanted it to be Kendall, but then you reminding me of that fact. I'm like, no, like, fuck everybody. Again, I love Wendy. If it's gonna be Wendy, cool, 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 cool. But like, yeah, and Callie's good. I like Callie. I definitely think she is a future champion. But I don't know. I'd like to give that a bit more time to breathe. Kendall, I think, would be a great first choice. As far as the men's, I'll tell you who I got my money on. The guy that hasn't even qualified yet, Jackson Drake. And why, you ask? I'm glad you did. Well, first of all, Swipe Right beat Timothy Thatcher and Sean Legacy in a tag match on this past episode. And I told you, and I'm going to repeat again, I think Thatcher's going to screw Sean Legacy out of the championship. It's a fatal four-way elimination match. You pull him out of the ring, you beat the shit out of him, you put him back in said ring, have him get pinned, you sneer and snarl, and then you walk to the back. Mission accomplished. It's that simple, baby. So, yeah, Sean Legacy eats the pin, but then, oh, wait, who's going to be champion? Again, Jackson Drake. And it's going to be amazing for the Vanity
Why
Project.
can't it be Keanu Carver, who we know is in the match?
Oh, Ashton. I'll tell you why it can't be Keanu Carver, because the Vanity Project is the definitive faction in Evolve. They are getting a lot of promo time and a lot of segments. And imagine how insufferable they'd be in kayfabe if you wanted to stop them. You wanted to be like, oh, but Vanity Project, you can't have the mic. Can't we? We have the world fucking champion in our stead. I'm pretty sure we can. It makes perfect sense. And plus, think about this. This is all coming from my face. Would I ever steer you wrong?
I'm hearing a lot of excuses as to why Vanity Project and Jackson Drake should win the title, but I haven't heard you say why Keanu shouldn't.
Well, okay, so why Keanu shouldn't? Again, I do think why Jackson should. Vanity Project faction, you want to emphasize the faction. Keanu, I mean, listen, man, he's already a fucking monster. Do we really just need to give him the title? He could win it some other time. Jackson Drake can be, a shitheel that kind of escapes by the skin of his teeth when Keanu challenges him. Then whoever beats Jackson Keanu can fucking swallow him. You know, he doesn't need to be the first ever. He just needs to be a champion. He just needs to be in the lineage. Being in the lineage and being first are two different things. I think Keanu's time will come. It's just not going to come right now. I think Vanity Project's the priority, baby, as it should be, as it should be.
I
So
think
yeah,
Keanu should be the inaugural champion, and that Jackson Drake should beat him via cheaty means to become the second ever champion, and then Sean Legacy should be third in line.
you know what? We'll see. We'll see.
Although, you know what? That might not even work out because Sean Legacy might not even be in Evolve for that much longer, given how popular he's getting in NXT.
That is very true. Yeah, yeah. Sean Legacy is in an interesting place now that you
God
say it.
damn
We'll have to see. But I'm still committed to Thatcher betraying him. That I am committed to. Jackson Drake
it.
winning, I don't know,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think Thatcher's going heel for sure.
You know what really grinds my gears?
Tell me everything.
So, you know that I am not one to wish ill will on anyone for the most part. I am very much against like wishing injuries or job loss or anything like that again. Most people, but the fact that Dakota Kai, Jakara Jackson, Gigi Dolan, etc., got released, and Nikita fucking Lyons is still lingering in the background and somebody that I have to think about on WWE television really grinds my fucking gears.
You know what? As it should. And not to make too big a thing out of it before I make too big of a thing out of it probably. Sometimes I worry, and I should just say sometimes in worry, not that I believe this is actually happening, but that I worry these moves are being made because the country's going further right and WWE just wants to give the appearance of being lockstep with that because we know Nikita is like MAGA and like Dakota is like the quintessential sweetheart that seems completely antithetical to a lot of MAGA values. So, is it any surprise that she gets the job security in a historically conservative company while Dakota gets the boot? I mean, again, not to make too big a thing out of it, but I think not. You know,
I
like,
mean, here's the thing though. We also know that WWE is callous as fuck and loves releasing people who don't have much of a future due to lingering injuries that are never going to go away. And Nikita's knees are fucked.
yes, yes, yeah, they're never getting right again for sure. Oh, but she still gets platformed, and it's still whatever. And she has no upside, because that's another one that can't talk. We saw that backstage segment with her and Zeta. It was cringe as shit. So
No.
like, what the fuck are we doing? A whole lot of nothing. That's what. Fuck.
She and Austin Theory should have a promo battle so we can see who has the better black scent.
Do I have to watch it though?
You don't have to, no. I mean, neither one of us has to, but I'm just saying, like, she's grating.
I love that you created something that we don't even have to endure. That's so beautiful. That's great. Yeah, let's do it to everyone else as we get away to safety watching good promos. Um, anything else worthwhile? And yeah, Keanu Carver did qualify, beating Harlem Lewis, beating Harlem Lewis's ass. It was a pretty fun fight. And yeah, Keanu definitely I prefer between the two of them, so they definitely made the right call. And yeah, he very well, like in all sincerity, I love Vanity Project. I love to have a good time, but being serious, there is a very good chance Keanu is the inaugural champion. It's either him or Sean Legacy to me, although I really want to believe that Jackson Drake has a shot. I really do.
I really just want to know who the fourth guy is going to be because we know. Wait, is Thatcher even in it for sure?
Oh no, dude, he's not in it. I just think he's gonna come out at some point in the match and screw Sean over.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what I've been saying.
So the
We
only
know that the final
two
spot is
people
gonna
that we
be
know are in it are Legacy and Carver.
yeah, like it's the final qualifier. I mean, it's Jackson Drake, Lindsay Dorado, and a guy whose name I cannot remember. I
Wait, so
cannot
who
remember.
else is in it other than Legacy and Carver?
Inofe, remember?
Oh yeah, that's right. Let's talk about Idris Enofe. He returned this week and beat Oro Mensa, who
You
is
seemed really
another.
high on his return, so I want to hear
I
your thoughts first.
I really just have to emphasize that Idris Enofe or that Oro Mensa is another person who deserves this job more than Nikita Lyons.
Yes, 100%.
But yeah, man, Idris looked fucking incredible. He came back in amazing shape. He's looking great. He hasn't lost a step athletically. He put on a pretty solid match here with Ola or Oro. I'm sorry. It reminds me of Aurora Monroe Storm. Oro Mensa though. Yeah, that even starts with an M. Anyway, But yeah, it was a solid match, and really, I just think that he has the look of a star, and he has like a very exciting upside based on the look, based on the athleticism. I liked the interview that he had earlier on in the show with like the big return looming. That was cool. I thought he did well there. I do like his tag team with Malik Blade, but if Blade is out with some kind of injury or something, then I'm glad that Inofe's getting opportunities here as a single star.
Thank you, WWE, for learning that when a tag team can't be used, you could still utilize the
No,
healthy person.
buddy, they haven't learned anything. This is an exception, not the rule.
You're so right. I'm so sorry for speaking out of turn, and by out of turn, I mean incorrectly. That was embarrassing for both of us. But I thought you that hard.
Because you said it was embarrassing for both of us. Why would I be embarrassed?
I mean, you shouldn't have to be associated with that. Your face deserves
I
better.
do not feel secondhand embarrassment when you state incorrect facts. I just want to make sure that they're corrected for the future.
God, you're so good to me. Thank you. No. Oh, God damn it. Uh, no, I don't think he has a good look. I think the promo needs developing, but I'll tell you what, like I've heard awful promos and he's not awful.
Yeah.
I'd say he's just decent.
Scale
Um,
of 1 to 10. 1 being, oh my God. Like, okay, let's put it this way. We already agreed earlier. 1 being like Sean Legacy, Kylie Ray tier promo. Like, oh my God, never let them touch a mic again type shit. At least not in front of my eyes and with my ears having to listen. 10 being like GOAT. Like, 20-minute promos every week isn't enough type shit.
I got a no fa like if I'm being honest, just from first impressions, like the interview that he had with what's his name, Chewy
Yeah,
and
yeah, Chewy
and
Martinez.
Chewy Martinez, and then the post match promo that he did with Chewy. I'd say probably I'm oscillating between 4 and 5, so I'm gonna land on 5 for
I would
me.
have said 4, so we're right around the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, I love how our mindscape is so fucking unified. So yeah, he's there. But again, when you look at the people we have been shitting on tonight,
Yeah,
that's actually pretty fucking decent relative to that landscape.
yeah.
Holy fuck.
I would rather listen to an Idris Enofe promo 10 times out of 10 than a Will Osprey promo.
So fucking correct. And you know that I never say this part. So like listen close. The numbers were impeccable. Holy fuck. Um yeah. So that was Idris. I really, I will say this since you mentioned Oro, like he is really fun in the ring. And I actually like his look. And you want to talk about promo? I still haven't forgotten that really heart-rendering segment he had with the rest of Metaphor where he talks about his childhood. I actually, dude, I'll tell you what. I don't know if TNA like they are still their own separate company, so I could see Oro like joining them, but maybe not doing like NXT stuff. I think Oro would be great in TNA because I think AEW is too big and he'd get lost in the shuffle way too quickly. But I think TNA is just the perfect size where he would, I think, thrive in their X division. I definitely think he'd be an amazing X division competitor. And honestly, if you ever did like a Feast or Fired or Option C type shit, that kind of thing where you get a mid Carter in that main event scene, I think he would even be a worthwhile choice to experiment too if they really wanted to take a chance on just somebody like in that pool. How would they be as a main eventer? Like, yeah, in the TNA scheme, Mensa, I think, has a lot of upside. So I will say, I really hope that's where he goes next. Because he was great here. I really love watching him
You
work. He's
know,
very entertaining.
it's funny you mention that so emphatically because you really got me thinking about Noam Dar, and I mentioned Jakara earlier. I'm sorry, you mentioned Oro Mensa, and I've been, yeah, Noam Dar. Where the fuck has Noam Dar been? He won the Heritage Cup Championship from Lexus King over a month ago at this point and hasn't been on NXT since. Where the fuck is our Heritage Cup champion?
Face didn't get taken off the menu, baby. He's still like fucking locking lips with that cup as far as we know somewhere backstage. Like, I missed you so
Jesus.
much. I'm never leaving you again.
Oh my god.
I mean, I thought I was unhinged. And yeah, I mean that, but you know who's even
That
more
was a
unhinged?
complete thought right there. You were right. You said, I thought I was unhinged, and you were correct.
Yeah. Yeah, look at me go. I'm on a roll right now. But no, I
Okay,
think
Lola.
yeah.
Look at me go. I'm on a roll right now.
God, it just sucks to be me. Fucking Lola.
Uh,
Uh, oh God, what was I even? I kind of blacked out thinking about Lola there from Big Mouth. Yeah. Fucking. I don't even.
Noam
Okay, yeah.
Dar making out with the Heritage Cup.
No, don't bring it out there. God, why do I think about this shit? Fuck. No, it really is weird that NXT just hasn't platformed him since. Like, where did he go with it? He finished the job that Penn started in disappearing the Heritage Cup. He disappeared it again,
Oh my
more permanently this
god!
time.
What a callback! Proud of you.
God, my face has so many layers, bro. Like, fuck.
Like a
Um,
cake.
it could be any cake you want, baby.
Oh my god! Speaking of baby, Super Blue with a very Rick line in the chat. It's all about the brother, brother.
Oh my God, Super Blue. You know what? One time only, Super Pop.
Oh shit!
Okay. I think I'm ready to open the forum to questions because I
I
still
think
have
that
to
there's
make
only like
yeah.
2 or 3 people left here.
Yeah, I think we talked them to
We've
death.
talked everyone away, so we're gonna have a very limited question roundup here. It's gonna be just Super Blue and Caster, I think. I don't know. Alex, are you still here, bud?
I like pools with a limited circumference, so this works well
I
for
don't
me.
even know if Caster is still here. We haven't seen him in a while.
He's gonna pop with that question. How do you feel if so and so fails a drug test that they can go on to win the world title in 2 months? Is that a failure in policy? I would think so, Caster. I would think so, but we'll have to see it
I like
happen
how you
first.
made up a question for yourself to answer and then you answered it.
I'm so good at this. Ricky Lake, who even? God, I miss Himeka.
I was fuck, man. What are you doing to me?
You're. I want to put you in a terrarium and take care of you for the rest of my fucking life. God, you're precious.
It would be really easy because I don't even eat every day.
That's so true. It's like, did you feed him? I don't need to. It's part of the plan. I squeaked like a drill in your mouth at the dentist's office. Uh,
Oh.
Caster sales. With Gunther confronting Logan and later Seth, do you think he's turning face? No, I think he's chopping face, is what he's doing. You know what though? If he is turning face, just to treat your question a bit more seriously, I see it more as a slow burn because he shook hands with McAfee, he talked shit to Logan, but he still hates Jey Uso, which he got it half right. It's just the wrong Uso. But we'll deal with that later. Uh, I love that I fucked you so much tonight just by being me. I feel so affirmed. Um, but yeah, no, he and you know what? You know what? I'm actually glad you asked this, Caster Sales, like sincerely, because it makes me even wonder because I'm expecting Jay to beat Gunther again. Like,
I'm
what?
not. I think Gunther's winning the title back, baby.
Oh my God, were you sinning on this the whole time?
Yes.
Thank God, I think you're saying. Fuck. No, I. Okay. So you think Gunther's winning? I was just gonna say if Jay does win again, if Gunther would shake his hand, and I think if he shakes Jay's hand, that to me would complete the face turn
Yeah.
because like to go to a guy whose brother you bloodied, which none of us were complaining by the way, but you know you took him out and then you've talk trashed him, you've beaten him so many times, but then you shake his hand when he's proven himself to you. That just feels like babyface behavior to me, man. I don't know. Beating the shit out of an inferior twin, check. Shaking hands with a longtime rival, thereby earning respect, check. I don't know. I feel like it would be complete. So, yeah, we'll see.
Super Blue, you are asking back-to-back questions without letting anyone else even try to go.
I mean, he knows the pool is small, man. He's like, I'm taking up all of it. Like,
This is like our quarterly Q&As. It's just 15 Super Blue questions every 3 months.
He's like, you will pay attention to my face, and then you'll pay attention to my LA night gifs.
God damn.
And then he rips his face off, and it was Emma in disguise because it was all about me. Oh,
Let's do
God.
preview and predictions for Double or Nothing. That was his first question.
Wait, what? Why?
You skipped
Why?
it. I think you might have just blanked out because you skipped it and skipped right to Caster.
I. No, I'm not sorry. I'm guys. No, why? I'm not sorry. In fact, I would do it again. I want to do it again. Can we do it again? Fuck. All right. The more I complain, the more time gets eaten up, and then we're just putting off the question. And I'm like starting to get hungry, and I need to make food. And it has been an awful babysitting experience. So let's go through this double or nothing card.
Pre-show
Let's.
match: Megan
Yeah.
Bayne and Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay and Harley Cameron.
Anna J gets pushed way too much, so I'm gonna go Anna J.
Megasis gets the dub.
You know what? I'm so sorry because everything I just said, I'm doing it right now. Can you just say Megasis again in my ear?
Megasis.
I am doing things to you later. All right, next.
Jamie Hayter. Wait, I want to go in a better order than that. Mark Briscoe versus Ricochet in a stretcher match.
What is this, late WCW?
What the fuck?
I'm gonna say Ricochet.
Probably, yeah. What the fuck? Who books this shit? Um,
I'm never forgiving you for this, Super Blue. I will never emotionally recover from this.
FTR versus Daniel Garcia and Nigel McGuinness.
Daniel Garcia turns on McGuinness, I think, so FTR.
Yeah. I am so down for this betrayal.
Yes, yes. I wanted you to say my whole life.
I hope
Oh,
Nigel brings back Danielson and Austin Aries.
dude, you have me fighting for my fucking life right now. Next matchup here, please.
Bring in low key, baby. Teach these fuckers a lesson.
Wait, I need to turn off my crisp just to be a part of it for a second. He used to be named Caval. Oh God, what a fucking shitter. All right, next.
um, there's a trios match happening with nothing on the line. It's going to be the Paragon versus the Don Callis family. Do you need names?
Yes.
Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Josh Alexander representing the Don Callis family. And the Paragon is Cole, O'Reilly, and Strong, formerly undisputed, whatever the fuck.
Okay, look, to be conceited for 2 seconds, how can they call themselves the Paragon when my face isn't a part of it?
Dude, it's clearly a cry for help. They want you to help them. They need you as their manager.
No. I'm gonna say Don Callis family.
I agree. Um, let's talk about the Continental Championship. Do you know who AEW's current Continental Champion is?
Um, I should know. Isn't it? No, it's not Takeshita because he's in that trios match. Who is it?
Okada.
So it's still Okada. Yeah, he hasn't dropped it. Okay, Okada versus who?
Speedball Mike Bailey.
Like Speedball, man. I don't talk about that enough. I respect that dude. He seems like a good dude. Him and Veda Scott are precious. Um, but it's still Okada. I'm gonna go him. But if Bailey beat him, I really wouldn't mind it at all, honestly.
I agree. Okada retains.
Nice.
Let's talk about Anarchy in the Arena. And I say that
Oh,
because every other match on this card is either for the Owen Hart Foundation Cup tournament or is for a championship. Do you
okay.
have any idea what the Anarchy in the Arena teams even are? Like, do you even know what the match is about?
No clue.
Okay.
I
It
am so
is.
proud of my ignorance. You have no idea.
I'm so fucking proud of you, too. It is the Young Bucks and the Death Riders all on one team. and it is both Young Bucks and all 4 members of the Death Riders, including Marina Shafir. That's right, we're doing an intergender or Anarchy in the Arena versus all 3 members of the Ops. Do you know who the Ops are?
No.
Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Shibata.
That's right. They call themselves the. Okay. Okay. Continue.
So the opposing team going against Moxley, Claudio, Marina, Wheeler Yuta, and the Young Bucks is the Ops, which is Joe Hobbs, Shibata, Kenny Omega, Swerve Strickland, and Willow Nightingale.
Oh, I'm happy for Willow. I know that's not really the main takeaway here, but
She is Marina Shafir's counterpart in this.
okay. You know what? Just because I want to have some sunshine in my soul, damn it, I'm gonna root for the team with Willow on it.
I think they're probably winning, but the way that Tony Khan books, somebody might just show up randomly and join the Death. Actually, no. You know what? I'm gonna pick the Death Riders and the Young Bucks to win because guess who's been helping the fucking Death Riders win their matches lately?
Oh.
Gabe fucking Kidd.
Oh my god.
It keeps getting worse.
Was that cackle also a cry for help, or am I reading too much into it? Oh my god, you poor baby. Oh god. I'll never forgive wrestling for hurting you like this. Oh. Next.
The Hurt Syndicate versus the Sons of Texas for the AEW World Tag Titles.
My god, Super Blue. You know what? No, I'm gonna swallow that one. I am going to say that after that fucking garbage ass, mid ass, look at my old ass promo from Dustin Rhodes, Hurt Syndicate better fucking win. And also, okay. Again, I don't want to take up time because everything I said, but I need to say this. Once again, fans doing your product better than you're doing it. Because whoever came up with, and I am not mad at you, whoever you are, you're not even going to hear this. I don't know why I'm qualifying, but you're beautiful. Whoever came up with, oh, Cedric's going to interrupt the contract signing and challenge MJF at All In, winner gets in Hurt Syndicate, that was so much better of an idea than having MJF segment get torpedoed by this shit. This is fucking garbage. Hurt Syndicate better retain. It's not even me predicting. I am gonna go with them, but no, more emphatically, they better fucking retain. I swear to God, if you message me, because you know I'm not gonna watch this shit, and I don't think you are either. But I know you at least keep your finger on the pulse.
Well, no, dude,
if
neither
you
one of us
me,
is gonna watch this because it's gonna be airing simultaneously with Battleground, and we're gonna be watching that, reacting to that.
Thank you, NXT, and thank you, Obafemi, because I know you didn't do this, but you might as well have. One of us is gonna look it up. And we're going to be like, LOL, cry face, fucking Dustin and Sammy won the fucking titles. Oh, I hate this company so much. I hate this company so much. I hate this company so fucking much.
All right, let's talk about the Owen Hart Foundation Cup Tournament Finals.
Yeah, please, quickly. Who's men's and who's women? Actually, you know, I already know women's.
No, we're just going to do the women's for now, then we'll get around to the women's championship, and then we'll close out with the men's.
Because I remember the men's too. I kind of memory hold that too because fucking ass face, ass face, ass face, Osprey.
The women's Owen is Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné.
I mean, I can't believe Jamie hasn't been back in the title picture in all this time. I'm hoping.
Just to be clear, the winner of the Owen wins a shot at the World Championship at All In.
Yes. We're
talking about either doing Jamie Hayter versus Toni Storm or Mercedes Moné versus Toni Storm, assuming Toni retains against Mina, which is the next match we're going to talk about.
Yes. I say that like Jamie having not been in the title picture all this time when didn't she have to relinquish the title? Or like
No, Toni Storm squashed her in 2 minutes because Jamie went into that match with an injury.
You know what? I'm so glad you said it that way because even AEW, right? They can't pass up doing an obvious story of Jamie Hayter's redemption, rising up to Toni again at 100%. So I'm actually going to go Jamie winning this. I don't think Mercedes needs it anyway. She's kind of doing a belt collector thing, but that means you have belts that you've collected. So Jamie Hayter to win this.
I really thought that this would be Jamie versus Athena because I thought that Mercedes would do the honors and just lose to Athena so that Athena could come and challenge for the TBS title and fail. Like it would be like, okay, we're going to kind of do back and forth. We're going to do a little 50-50 booking here. And Athena would win the Owen tournament and she would, do, or maybe even just lose to Jamie, actually. I think that was my initial prediction was that she would lose to Jamie in the finals. But the idea was like Athena would fucking get a shot at Mercedes' title and fail, but at least it would give her more time on the main roster. And when I say main roster, I mean on AEW TV and not just Ring of Honor. Um, Mercedes just beat her in a fantastic match, but Mercedes just beat her. I'm done picking against Mercedes Moné in AEW. She's winning this match as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I see where you're coming from for
I mean,
sure.
we definitely agree that the better story is Jamie winning and trying to win the title back, that she only lost because she was injured and she couldn't defend the title full health. To the same woman that beat her for the title, by the way. Like it's perfect. It's right there. If they don't do that, they're fools. But it's Tony Khan. He is a fool. And it's Mercedes Moné. She kind of is giving Hogan vibes.
You're so right about everything, which I feel like I've said a lot tonight, which is
You
so good
really
for me.
have, and I really like. It's doing a lot for my ego. Believe me, I appreciate it a lot.
I love you so much. But here's my question to you now.
Yeah.
Is it wrong this one time to believe in my own face and stick with Jamie
No.
Hayter and
No.
trouble?
I look.
Okay.
You gotta understand. I very seriously considered picking Jamie, but I decided, you know what? No, I am not getting burned by Mercedes Hogan again.
No, see, and you're so right because the problem was Tony Khan wasn't bullied enough. And because of that, that's why we're here.
I think the problem might actually be that Tony Khan was bullied too much, and he is taking out all of those memories and that insecurity out on everyone through AEW.
Oh God. Oh God. Is my entire world just collapsing? No, I really, because no, what I hate about matches like this is I think you and I have two very compelling narratives for two very different reasons. And that's what's crazy because I think mine, when you look at it from the purely kayfabe, you even said like it's perfect. But then when you look at the very real life stuff, that wrestling has politics, that wrestling has insecure beta males that have lots of money, it's got like which narrative is stronger. That's the real contest here. It's not even between Mercedes and Jamie. It's against kayfabe and shitty real life. Um, I don't know. I think I'm gonna stick with Jamie, but I really let it just be noted that I totally understand where you're coming from picking Mercedes.
Is Rookie like
Yeah.
losing her mind right now? Because I feel like I hear you keep looking away.
No, I thought I heard something because Riddick
Oh,
keeps going up and down the stairs because this is the night
oh,
now where he's really like
anxiety.
jonesing for his mom.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, the
yeah.
anxiety's bad. I actually need to check on Wookie because I have not seen her. So when we're done here, I'm definitely gonna have to check on her and do a bunch of other stuff because
Love
I'm
her up
Mr.
because she
Yeah.
deserves all the love in the world.
Oh, of course. God, she's perfect. Definitely the superior child, but I won't let him know that. Uh,
Wow.
I'm right. Okay, sue me.
You're sounding like Lucille Bluth. I would never choose a favorite. And then you cut to I don't care for Job.
Yeah, there's definitely a Job in our family for sure.
Wow.
Oh, you got that Jay Lethal. Wow, that's my line. Um,
God damn. Let's please move on. Do we agree that
yes,
Tony's retaining against Mina, or do we think there's a chance that Mariah shows up and helps Mina win?
no chance. More like Tony's winning because it's her fucking division.
Okay, let's just talk about Hangman Osprey. I know we
Oh,
both want Hangman to win.
oh, Osprey's winning.
Okay. Well, this was nice and quick then, because we agree on that. Osprey's winning. Let's finally get to a third fucking question. Super Blue, where do you think Ace Austin will land now that he's leaving TNA? I'm gonna say
I
New Japan.
yeah, New Japan works too.
Did you say my ass?
I did. I can't deny it. Fuck.
Who will win the Raw Money in the Bank qualifying match on Monday? Do we even like have contestant? Like who's even in it?
Super Blue, you better give us names right now so I can properly answer this question
Yeah,
because
Super
I
Blue,
have
give us names, and when you do, we'll come back around to that question. Moving on, my mom actually put in a question. She said, "John, who did you want to win the Drew versus Priest match?"
Yeah, who actually did win that cage match? We barely talked about it.
Maybe answer my mom's question and then I'll answer yours.
Wow. First of all, loving the tone. Very reassuring. I'm gonna pick Priest.
He did win.
Yeah. Now Drew can turn babyface because he's lost everything.
He is going to be gone for a while, I think.
Because didn't he say he was working hurt?
Yeah, well, that and Priest won by concertoing him and walking out of the door, and Drew was just laying there lifeless. And by the time Priest was halfway up the ramp, there were like 7 or 8 medical officials in the ring checking on Drew.
Oosh. All right. Um. Next question, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Super Blue. Will Dom fall for Roxanne? Absolutely. This is how we get babyface Liv Morgan.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God, you're so right. And I've missed babyface Liv Morgan.
Yeah.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Which it's so weird because the crowd has started popping for Dom, and WWE's like, oh shit, we gotta make him hateable again.
Exactly. Exactly.
But with Roxanne though, she's my baby. Like, no, don't do this.
Next question. Again from Super Blue. Is it a mistake to move WrestleMania 42 to Vegas?
I think the broader issue is I'm worried about more shows being concentrated in Vegas because of TKO's whims.
I think this is like a question that kind of parallels the politics of our country right now, because is it a mistake in the sense that like it's going to hurt them financially right now? No, obviously they probably got paid a whole bunch more money to do it in Vegas. Is it a mistake in terms of like reputation? I think so, because like I feel like there are going to be cities that are going to be less willing to negotiate with you now, knowing that you could just bail on them at any moment and be like, yeah, but we got a bigger offer from these people over here. Fuck you.
Yeah, I don't
It's
like it.
it's like the U.S. relinquishing all this soft power just to cause harm.
Exactly. Exactly. God, we're so terrible right now. Um, fuck. Yeah, fuck.
I think the only other question we've gotten was from Super Blue, and he said, "Did AAA and WWE do enough to the card to get you to watch Worlds Collide?" They've only
No,
announced 2 matches, and one of them is stellar, and the other one I don't care about.
yeah, I'm saying that my world and their world is staying pretty parallel. No collision happening
Are
there.
you
So
aware of the match that got added today?
no,
You like Hijo del Vikingo, right?
it's cool.
Chad Gable.
Ooh, daddy.
Singles match, one on one.
Ooh,
Yes.
yeah, yes, yeah. That's hot.
Also, I'm guessing based on that you don't even know about the 6-man tag either, do you?
No.
Legado de Fantasma
Okay.
versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr., meaning not the Silver Fox, but his son,
Okay.
Psycho Clown, and Pagano. That trio.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. Actually, the more I think about it, ew.
So it's just those 2 matches announced thus far as I'm aware. But like
Yeah, it's
Chad versus Vikingo is wow, I'm going to want to watch that for sure.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, it's Chadius, and
It's
Vikingo again is really cool.
Chattykins, my preferred nickname for him.
Oh, that's really endearing. All right.
Can
Any
we
yeah,
please just close the door and move on? No more questions for fuck's sakes.
yeah. I mean, Silverblue never even gave us the names that we wanted. What the hell, Superblue? Do your part. Uh,
Yeah, I mean, oh my god, we're moving on. Jesus Christ.
yeah. Watch the product. Yeah, high spots and low shots. Low shot feels like me because fucking they're shitting all over Money in the Bank with these shit ass fucking qualifiers. Except you, Julia. You're wonderful. You can stay. Um, but an actual low shot. You know what? I'm gonna say Jimmy Uso again because you lost and you ate the pin. How's that taste, Jimmy? How's that fucking taste? Who's your low shot?
My low shot is Chelsea Green.
Oh,
Because the Secret Harvest lost a tag match on SmackDown and she lost her shot at the Women's US title tonight.
oh man. Which is why she should have qualified for women's Money in the Bank, so in case Naomi couldn't win it, she could. But no, no, we don't do those things. Okay, high spot. You know what? Clearly, I'm feeling my douchiest tonight with all of my remarks. High spot John Cena. That was a
Oh
beautiful.
yes,
That
I'm
was a
glad you gave
beautiful
it to
fucking.
him because I thought about it.
Yeah, that was a beautiful fucking nut shot. You know, I'm telling you, there is. Okay, no, you know what? I'm swallowing it. Never mind. Never mind. I don't want to promote
Right
toxic.
between the legs.
Yeah, I don't want to promote too many toxic lessons on the podcast. I feel like there's a
I
quota that I have to hit, but then when I
I
exceed it, it
will
becomes
make an
concerning.
attempt to offer some kind of counter argument if it's too toxic in my mind. I really want to hear what you're swallowing.
No, I think there's nothing sexier to me, at least in the confines of pro wrestling, when you violate another person's trust in that way. And truth being like, I've got John Cena back and going for the handshake only to be hit in the nuts. I thought that was delicious. I enjoyed that on a level that I really wouldn't even feel comfortable talking about to a
I
therapist.
think everyone in our
Uh,
audience understands that you're saying this within the confines of fiction and that you're not saying that it's
yes.
something you would necessarily
Yes.
advocate for in real life.
No,
So,
because Truth got suckered. And I think him getting suckered, that was hilarious to me. And again, I was very sincere earlier in the show. Check the tape back. I think Truth did excellent work in this. And I think it's so perfect for his character to be so easily duped. And honestly, just because I have a very, very different, and different is the most generous word we can use, sense of humor, that might even go down as my funniest moment of the year. I
wow.
audibly cackled when that happened.
I was
And
on
like
the phone with you when you watched it, and yeah, I can confirm everyone he cackled pretty good.
yeah, it was delectable to me. So John Cena for being the heel that we need. I really hope he beats Cody Rhodes. And honestly, the only reason I'd be okay with LA Knight winning Money in the Bank is because I know he'd try and cash in on John Cena because he thinks he's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and he'd fail. Probably because Cena would get himself disqualified. Because keep in mind, Money in the Bank cash-ins aren't no DQ matches, so LA Knight doesn't even have to lose. John Cena just is the one that fucking
He
or yeah,
retains champion's advantage.
exactly. Exactly. Fucking exactly. And that would be hilarious because then Super Blue for the first time would be like, but he cheated or he got DQ'd, and he would actually be talking sense, but it wouldn't matter because LA Knight would still go home empty handed. I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah,
But
but he'd talk his way into a rematch.
yeah, but I mean, Cody Rhodes though would also talk himself into another rematch, and then they would just cannibalize each other, and then wrestling would be saved.
You mean
Um,
ruined in the good way.
Yes. So yeah, John Cena's absolutely my high spot. He's the person we need. He's going to kill. He's going to be the poison to pro wrestling that Vince wanted the NWO to be, except it's the good kind of hurt because he's making me forget Ric Flair. He's going to screw over LA Knight and he's going to stop Cody Rhodes. It's the dream, baby. And I ain't talking about Rhodes. So who is your high spot?
I'm not gonna beat that, so I'll keep it real simple and say that my high spot is Idris Enofe because he returned, won a match, and immediately got slotted into a world title match. Great job, Idris. Proud of you.
You know what? You might not have been beaten John Cena, and I mean, say hi to everybody during his reign of terror. But I mean, it was a sensible pick, and it was grounded, and that's just one of the plenitude of reasons I love that fucking face. So, do you have any concluding remarks?
Let's go home.
Absolutely. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Be sure to leave a like as you follow out, subscribe, click the bell icon notification so you miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Check out everything we're involved in the description box. Follow us on Blue Sky and Twitch because we are the best wrestling podcast in all the IWC. And I guess we'll see you tomorrow for Battleground PLE reactions at like what, Ashton? 7?
Well, actually, let me see if I can find an answer for
Usually seems to be 7.
you. Um, NXT Battleground 2025. I'm seeing 7:30.
Okay.
That might be a pre-show. I don't know.
Okay. Well,
It's
then we'll
8. It
just.
starts. The show starts at 8. The actual main show starts at 8.
You know what? I actually really like that because the family might be getting home around that time. And even if they aren't, I should hopefully have things wrapped up by then, like comfortably. So yeah, we'll see you guys at 8 tomorrow for Battleground PLE reactions, and we'll see how it goes. And just thank you guys very much. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be good to yourselves and each other. Tune in and peace out.